Alright, Shapes, and welcome back to the expedition of the Anime Encyclopedia. Nailed it! Let's go! Alright. I was like, oh, let's get that intro right. Let's get it going. And then it just nailed it. Anyway. Look at everyone's doing good. Let me know if the volume's okay in places. We got the music back on. Nice. Greg, early as always, how you doing? Jill Croonan. Oh god, I remember this song. He's just kidding. That's there. That's there. Hi. Music hurts ears. I'm sorry. I think it looks okay. I just don't want it to be like mute. You know what I mean? I want people to be able to hear it. He's a tad louder. Yep, fair. Playing with the volumes a little bit. Let me know if that's good. Can never tell. Can never tell. Because like I have like a separate like the sound on my end. You know? Whatever. I could always check on my phone or something, but yeah. So tonight, this morning, wherever you're at, we're gonna start with a reading. Of course, we're gonna start with a reading. One of their entries. This one's called Early Anime. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think this is the sort of stuff that they're really good at and like very insightful, and I shouldn't have any problems with it. I think it's going to be very interesting and valuable. And worth reading on stream, if anything. I'm good. Finished the Boom yesterday. Wasn't much to my taste, but I finally found a Tomino anime with a lighthearted ending. Oh yeah. I mean, that's surprising. Because like, I think Gundam has a pretty lighthearted ending, all things considered. All things considered, honestly. Compared to his other endings, right? And then, I don't know if you've seen Gainer, but Gainer is pretty good. Has a pretty solid ending. Yeah. But yeah, Zibundo's very, very uplifting for the most part. It's got some drama in there. I can barely hear you. Ah! Really? Is it because of the music still? Like that? How's that? I mean, I'd say it seems like the mic is doing okay. I guess maybe it's just like the bulk. I don't know. Don't. Alright. I guess it's Cleo. That works a little better. I just don't want to be blasting people with my voice. Waiting a few more minutes. A minute or two for us to get started. Gundam keeps going, man. UC timeline is out. I guess. But in terms of like, you know, like, I think original Gundam has a good ending, and then Zeta is one of those not so good endings type of thing. I think it's valid to have multiple endings and count them as separate, just because like there's a continuation and such. Well, let's get this going. Sorry, that was a little loud. I saw that peak. My bad. Stop embarrassing me. Stop that. Sorry. Gotta put the chat over here. I'm at full volume and you're still quiet. Ah! Like that's showing up. And it's not because the music is too loud, right? I don't think it is. Or maybe it is. But like you put it to like -20 and then you don't even hear it, right? That's annoying. Anyway, maybe just I have to talk more close into the mic or something. I don't know. So lift it maybe. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. See then. I'm gonna tweet that. tweet that I'm live. Or nah. Whatever. This is whatever. Okay. Music's not the problem. Okay. I'm not sure then. Should we just do the... Stop it. No, not you. Right. I did this. Yeah? Yeah? That seem a little better? I'm definitely more in the yellow now. Probably. Yeah. It's always weird things with the mic. Always, always, always. Alright. Well, let's get to reading their section on early anime. I did read a little ahead in this one. Just a little bit. Because I was just like, just sifting it out, I guess, a little bit. Alrighty. Early anime. Controversy continues to haunt discussions of the first anime in Japan, particularly after Natsuki Matsumoto's discovery in 2005 of a scrap of film, barely 3 seconds long, stenciled straight onto blank film, and possibly never even screened. Despite depicting a boy drawing the characters for moving pictures on a blackboard, the Matsumoto fragment is undeniably a piece of early Japanese animation, but it is little help in establishing a date for the beginning of the medium. We still do not know who drew it or when. It is not impossible that it might date from as early as 1907 when, as the German scholar Frank Litton points out, Japanese film magazines were advertising the sale of, mainly foreign, small-gauge film reels for use in home movie projectors. At this point I want to bring up the anime they're talking about because this is something that you can watch right now. It's 3 seconds long. Let me pull it up. GIF. Give me the GIF. Yeah. There it is. You've now watched a very, very, very old anime. And again, we don't quite know the date on it, technically. Or maybe this was written in 2015 and we've since figured it out? I don't know. Still. Funny. Where's I at? Yeah. Put that on. The notepad it allows me to brightens my face a little more. Yeah, put like a, I don't know. I don't want to, I don't care that much. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. So that's the one they're talking about. At least I'm pretty sure. Very, very specific description. However, the Japanese press and overeager Western fans immediately began assigning dates of before 1915, around 1907, and in the early years of the 20th century. So that within a few days, it was being reported as an anime from shortly after 1900. Litton suggests that for technical reasons due with its quality of registration and fluctuations in the price of celluloid, the Matsumoto fragment is unlikely to have been made before 1905 or after 1912. So that's a good window. It's nice to have that window. I have to go log it in again now. That's fair. I haven't even logged it. I don't care. Here you good. Thank you so much, Yunez. Yunes. I'm sorry. There's so many ways I can move. I'm sorry. Let's see. In other words, the centenary of Japanese animation has probably passed us by, unnoticed and uncelebrated at some point before 2012. While such confusion may seem wholly innocent, some pundits may have political motives. Okay? A 1907 date would allow Japan to claim to have developed animated animation concurrent with the first known screening of a foreign cartoon in Japan that same year. And a pre-1907 date would allow Japan to claim to be the pioneer of the entire animated medium. The first example of which is currently acknowledged as J. Stuart Blackton's humorous Phases of Funny Faces from 1906. So this is the current OG animation is Humorous Phases of Funny Faces from 1906. So if Katsudo Sushin is earlier than 1906, that would mean that, like, oh, we invented that kind of thing. That's sort of the political nature of it, kind of claiming dibs on the thing. I wouldn't mind that personally. They are pretty ahead of much of the world in animation, just on mostly on a content level, I think. Just like, I was thinking the other day or maybe as I was reading this, some of these entries of like a slice of life, like kind of whatever, it's still like there's nothing like that in much of the rest of the world, to my knowledge. Nothing like, you can make maybe like the Flintstones or something. I don't know. It's there's just something about the specificness of that premise, or just the fact that sort of is a genre in Japanese animation is just so ahead of the curve, and just they're just on top of stuff, I think. Just popped in to say I really like your videos. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Jamie. I really appreciate that. I'm working on videos. I've been in kind of it's weird. So like I have this really big video that's gonna be over 20,000 words. I think if it's at like 17,000 right now or something. It's probably more by then. But it's gonna be a long video, big video. But I want to put that out after these other videos that are a little smaller, still good. I want one of them to be out in February specifically, but I want to finish writing this big video first. Finish writing it, and then make this other video, and then get onto this other thing. And then I have these 2 other videos in the works, but not my job, so kind of just does when I have time, sort of thing. Which I'm hoping. I'm aiming for next week to finish it by the end of the month. I still want to have like goals, because I don't want to just like completely peter out and not put out a video in years, type of thing. I want to have something out for next month. The new Fruits Basket made me cry very hard. I hope it wins something in Crunchyroll Anime Awards. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's really strange, because it's a weird popularity contest thing. I don't know what they're doing now, because it used to be all popularity contest, and then I remember they course corrected it. It was something, but there was I think the system it is now is like a mixture of popular vote and some judge manipulated kind of, okay, trying to make this so not Attack on Titan sweeps everything, or Yuri on, but because what happened in 2016 was Yuri on Ice swept basically everything, and it was really pathetic. So they ended up they have it more a little balanced now. So maybe Fruits Basket wins something, and it does have a good deal of nominations, but we'll see. I don't put too much stock in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, though, because I have yet to see it really manifesting in anything like worth paying attention to. Like, the reason we pay attention to the Oscars is because it's this very old, long-standing institution that's been televised, and it's a whole big thing. It's not just for fun. You know, these Oscars actually really push forward what kinds of films we see, and the kind of like putting your name, like having an Academy Award winner, this thing, it's really huge, and it just means they get to make more movies, basically, or make these specific kind of movies. It's actually career defining. The Crunchyroll Awards, to my knowledge, doesn't seem, in my opinion, doesn't have any of that sort of effect. It's just kind of cute and for fun, and that's fine. Like, people can have fun and speculate and whatever, but it just doesn't. I don't have any stock in it personally, because why should I? You I don't see it. I don't see myself getting riled up for it. I I don't see the use of that personally. Not to ditch that. I'm not going to say that they're stupid or something. They're cool. I like that there's something like this. I think it's good to acknowledge the stuff that happened in the whole year. I like award shows, but I you know, Spirited Away getting an Oscar is a huge fucking deal, and it was. So that's the stuff I'd like to, you know. Anyway, still need to see OG Fruits Basket before I watch the remake. Can't wait for Naruto video. Thank you. Me too. By the way, Shaves, after finishing Sabungal, I've now seen at least one anime from every season going back 40 years. Wow. One anime from every season? That's insane. There's some of those seasons must be dry. There's got to be some of those where you were like, this one? That's really cool. That's awesome, actually. I like that a lot. Sorry that there's such a sidetrack. Let's get back to reading. The first completed Japanese animated film was probably a short by Oten Shimokawa, a 26-year-old amateur filmmaker who had previously been an editorial assistant for Tokyo Puck magazine. Sources including his cameraman claim that he worked using the chalkboard method, pointing a camera directly at a blackboard and then erasing and redrawing one frame at a time in order to create animation. Oh, interesting. That's cool. Shimokawa himself claimed in 1934 that this film was Mukuzo Imokawa the Doorman, Imokawa Mukuzo Genkanban no Maki, 1917. Although Frederick Litton has uncovered evidence that suggests Mukuzo Imokawa the Doorman was actually the third of Shimokawa's films to be screened, albeit possibly the first using the chalkboard method, hence the confusion. Two other Shimokawa shorts seem to have preceded it. Let me put in the chat that name in case people want to look that up. Mukuzo. And I can't just highlight and copy paste because Google Reads doesn't let you do that. Yes, I've been manually typing all of this stuff, like when I quote things, etc., etc. Sorry, I didn't see the redacted message you saw, Jamie. Is what it is. I guess you didn't want me to see it, so fair. Plus, the Oscars are voted by industry people. The country roles are more of a community thing. Oh yeah, exactly. Not all of those are seasonals, mind you. Some I've watched the movie for. Oh, that's fair. I figured as much, or like an OVA or something. I was also reminded when I'm reading this article of this website that Bob Samurai linked me. I'm not going to show our DMs or nothing, but let me find that thing he was showing me. It's animationfilmarchives.japan/English. Japanese animated film classics. I don't know if maybe this link will work. I guess that works, yeah? Yeah, because that was kind of interesting. Sorry, spelling mistake annoyed me in it. Oh, fair. Yeah, that happens. Sorry, my face is so dark. The only thing keeping making it light right now is the notepad that's open. Although the name of the first is not shown, the second appears to have been Dekobo Shingacho Meiya no Shippai, 1917. New picture book, Failure of a Great Plan. Shimokawa may have also worked by drawing directly onto film, one frame at a time. His experiments lasted for 6 months and five short films before he gave up and returned to newspaper illustration. This, at least, is what is believed by Japanese sources, although none of Shimokawa's anime work survives. Rivalry and One-Up, and it's like, and they're not saying this, and I'm just spitballing here. It's like if it doesn't exist and it can't be seen, then did it really, you know what I mean? How much stock should we really put in it? It's like some guy, to me that sounds like, oh, some guy was just messing around and experimenting with this thing. But it's not like a commercial, it's not like something that like a lot of people knew about, you know what I mean? It's just like something some guy did. In that case, there's probably a couple of other instances of that too. It's just that we have no idea about. And it's like, what we don't know, what we don't know. I don't know. It's just like how much does that matter, right? I guess it's interesting, but is it valuable to me if I can't see it? Personally, not too much. Personally. Not to devalue this is interesting. Rivalry and one-upsmanship lurk behind the scenes of early anime, as competing studios strove to be the first. Similar claims and counterclaims have hounded the advent of digital animation almost a century later. Oh, same idea where they're like, oh, we were the first to do this big thing and everything, yeah. Where Shimokawa was supposedly working for Tenkatsu, his fellow Tokyo Puck illustrator Junichi Koichi worked for Kobayashi Shokai, formed by former Tenkatsu employees, and both competed with Seitaro Kitayama, a watercolor artist who, it is said, proactively approached the Nikatsu studio himself and offered to create its first cartoons. Junichi Koichi's first work was Sword of Hanawa Hekonai from 1917, with artwork drawn directly onto paper. However, he was soon experimenting with paper cutouts, which were easier to manipulate and allowed, for example, for backgrounds to be reused. The animation cell, a transparent piece of nitrocellulose that would become the default material for most anime until the 1990s, had been invented in 1915, but had not yet made it into Japan. As with his fellow pioneers, little of Koichi's work Little of Koichi's work survives, and he gave up on anime in the 1930s. Seitaro Kitayama preferred fairy tales and legends to Shimokawa's vaudeville humor, producing early versions of The Monkey and the Crab, Momotaro, and Taro the Guardsman. And Kitayama displayed an early aptitude for applied animation, producing anime's first commercials, and also anime's first documentary, What Do You Do With Your Postal Savings, which I think we talked about. Yeah, they link their documentaries and history thing. He also founded Japan's first animation studio. And this is Kitayama, which does sound familiar. He also founded Japan's first animation studio, largely specializing in subtitles, intertitles, and special effects for live-action film. Although by 1930, he too had left the medium behind and moved into live-action newsreels. So little of the work of these early animators survives, in part because of the low number of their prints and relative ease with which a single reel movie might be mislaid. The main culprit, however, is the Great Kanto earthquake of 1923, and the subsequent fires that destroyed much of Tokyo, including almost all early anime materials. One of Kitayama's protégés, Sanai Yamamoto, continued in the aftermath and arguably became the founder of modern anime. Sanai Yamamoto. Crucially, when Kitayama fled to work in Osaka, the younger Yamamoto stayed behind in Tokyo. His works include The Mountain Where Old Women Are Abandoned from 1924 and another Tortoise and the Hare from 1924. Both still extant, E-X-T-A-N-T, define please, still in existence. They're both surviving, although we have less of an idea of how they were presented. As silent movies, they were expected to be performed not just with live musical accompaniment, but with a live narrator, or benshi. The benshi were holdovers from Japan's puppetry tradition and the magic lantern shows of the late 19th century, but their days were numbered with the introduction of movies with sound. Today, their last redoubt is the predominance of frankly unnecessary voiceover narration in Japanese audio dramas. But in 1920, their presence was vital and definitive. Apparent lacunae, for example, lacunae, L-A-C-U-N-A-E, define, an unfilled space, a gap. Apparent gaps, for example, in the on-screen images of Dreamy Urashima, which is this is one of the entries actually from this reading. It was from 1925. Would have been intended for a Benshi's commentary. without which the film is incomplete. Soon after the American movie The Jazz Singer from 1927 featured a talkie section, Japanese animators were similarly experimenting with sound. The first was Nobuo Ofuji's Whale from 1927, a silhouette animation synchronized to the William Tell Overture. He followed this up with the current animation Kuro Nyago from 1930, using the Tojo company's Eastphone sound system, anime's first genuine talkie, albeit only 90 seconds long. Kuro Nyago. Yeah, that seems pretty legit. The first talkie to use an optic trick, as in legit as in like I care. Like that sounds like something to worth seeking out, sort of thing. I do see Katsudo Sashin as kind of a meme. Like it's really short. It's animation, yeah, but like presented as an anime is hard to take that seriously personally. But I get it. Hey, Anime Back When, it's good to see you. Yeah, going back further is going to have some really dry seasons, especially pre-1980, since the industry used to treat summer as a break, and literally no TV anime were aired sometimes. Yeah. Have had a hard time not being annoyed by the Oscars after I saw an Academy member refer to The Tale of Princess Kaguya as Chinese shit in an article where they talked about their picks. Oh, yeah. Oh, they definitely have their problems. I'm not, like, endorsing in that. They're still important, but they are pieces of shit. Like, the fact, not even just their disregard for Japanese animation period, in general. Complete, that's been the thing since the 30s. Literally since, Walt Disney. Because, since Snow White. Snow White being the first full-length animated movie. And, like, an insane technical achievement. Literally box office banger, huge monumental moment in film, and they give him an honorary Oscar. They don't even nominate him for Best Picture. Obviously, there's no category for Best Animated Feature back then. That category didn't even show up until fucking 2000. The year 2000. Think of that entire length of time that there was no animation category. Maybe there was an animated short category, like Best Short or something. Maybe. I could imagine that, but no, still, like they've never had fair representation for that. As a general award show, like be past their really problematic animation shit, they're still pretty well respected. Although obviously a lot more people are starting to kind of like, come on, you know what I mean? Like I get it, they're obviously starting to have problems, but long-running institution for sure. Can you please explain me why in most anime guys nosebleed suddenly after some pervy or other conversations? Is that a difference in culture or something else? Please answer. Why do anime guys always get nosebleeds when they see sexy things? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I imagine that was a trend. That was probably something. Honestly, I don't think Acharu Moroboshi, because you're thinking, right, in terms of like, okay, let's trace this back. What's like the earliest instance of this happening? Because I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I think it seems like an anime thing or a manga. Manga and anime are very close together. Like something that, because there's so many manga adaptations, a lot of the things that show up in manga show up in anime as well, and then that gets kind of collected into the rest of anime with like original anime and stuff. So it's hard to really trace back a lot of some like original stuff. But I imagine it's sort of just kind of a in joke, sort of like a lot of like the anime has a lot of trends and like in references itself a lot, very self-referential, self-deprecating. But in terms of like anime nosebleed, that's probably just from a particular source. Like they were just like, there's something that happens that kind of incapacitates them, that they're so blood rushes to their head so quickly because of because of their perviness that blood. I'm not trying to give like a scientific explanation or something. Like I'm just kind of giving the head logic, I guess. But I imagine there's an anime in the 80s I would argue the 80s, because I can't actually think of an instance where a character like Atsuru Moriboshi from Urusei Yatsura, for example, where he did that. I don't think that happened. Maybe I'm wrong, but I actually can't pin and think of that. And he would be a character to do that, where he's just like, oh, and then, like, gets crazy, whatever. But I don't think he ever did that. So it's definitely a trend at later than 1981. Later than that. So mid 80s, late 80s, and early 90s, somewhere around there. It just kind of became a colloquial, sort of a shorthand, and everyone kind of I get it. You know what I mean? I can't tell you where it was from, though. But it's probably a reference to something. That would be my guess, personally. I think it's related to an old joke about Japanese men getting high blood pressure around women. Yeah, like, probably something like that. Like, maybe, like, that kind of reminds me of, like, Laughing Salesman, actually. That'd be so interesting if that was where that was from. That's a pretty early show, too. So, that's around the same time frame. The nosebleed thing is just a cultural connotation, like a liar having their nose grow because Pinocchio. That's what I mean. So it's like a cultural thing. So Pinocchio is the one that started that. And so there should be, you would assume, some anime that started that, where it was a high-profile enough moment where another series kind of caught on to that, and they kind of used that as shorthand sort of thing. Japan also has that thing where if you sneeze, someone must be talking about you. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a similar thing, and it could also be like a cultural, like, that could also be like what they tell you, and they could just come from Japanese culture or something like that. Literature, I don't know. Have you watched Flea or Summon of the Gods? Two incredible anime films in 2021. I've heard of Flea. My boss was just watched it. Sounds pretty good. Summon of the Gods I have heard of. It's the French animated film that's based on a manga, which is pretty cool. Looks alright. Keep reading. Keep getting sidetracked, as it be. The first talkie to use an optic track, as with modern films, was Kenzo Masaoka's The World of Power and Women in 1933, the tale of a henpecked husband accused of having an affair with a younger woman. The dying days of silent movies also encouraged new animators to enter into filmmaking. Yasuji Murata, whose first job had been cutting Japanese intertitles into silent movies from America to make the dialogue comprehensible to local audiences, was inspired by some of the cartoons he saw to make his own. His Animal Olympics in 1928 refined the themes of comedic competition, essentially becoming the first in a new subgenre of sports anime. That's Animal Olympics from 1928. Anime of the period were not only screened in cinemas. Those sponsored by commercial concerns often preferred to screen them at shopping areas in order to increase the immediate possibility of the sales. Early anime were also screened at schools, particularly if they were of a didactic nature. Murata's Taro's Steam Train from 1929, was an object lesson in consideration for others, as a lone Japanese boy tries to maintain order in a carriage packed with anthropomorphic animals that fight over seating, throw litter, and become increasingly rowdy. Anime's first sequel was The Pirate Ship from 1931, a continuation of the previous year's Monkey Island, in which a young child cast adrift has adventures on the high seas. Amid such marvels, however, Japanese folktales continued to exercise a strong influence. Tanuki, Japan's indigenous raccoon dogs, appear in several early anime, where their fun-loving nature, their naughtiness, and their constant rivalry with snooty foxes made them an eternal hit with young audiences. In one such example, Murata's Bunbuku Teapot from 1927, a kind-hearted man rescues a tanuki from a trap. The grateful animal turns itself into a teapot, which the man then donates to a Buddhist temple, whereupon the tanuki reverts to its previous form to cause chaos. It kind of reminds me of the scene in Pompoko where they're turning themselves into tea kettles or the pots. Similar thing. Kind of cool. Vol, FYI. I don't know what that means. I'm scared. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Similar transformations came with Ikuo Oishi's moving picture fight of the fox and the possum from 1931, in which a fox disguised as a samurai tormented by tanuki disguised as monks who transform themselves into grotesque demonic phantoms, compared to like antagonists in Pompoko. Oh, well, there you go. Well, there you have it. Similar creatures would feature in another Japanese first, Kenzo Masaoka's Dance of the Teapots from 1934, in which a group of tanuki break into a Japanese temple to steal the newfangled gramophone records played by the monks. This was the first anime to be made wholly with animation cells, as opposed to earlier methods that utilized translucent papers. So that's substantial. I would be interested in that. Dance of the Teapots. I'm actually going to write that down as one of the anime I'm now interested in, based on reading about it. I'm also going to make a parentheses of like, oh, it's because it's from that, in case I can't find the article directly about that. Hold on. Let me put the Japanese name. That's cool. All right. Let me pull the chat back up. Okay. Color took longer to arrive in anime's early years, although since the schoolboy in the Matsumoto fragment had a dot of red on his cap, one might equally argue that the first identifiable Japanese cartoon was already in color. There were many tinted or toned Japanese films. Okay, come on. I get it. Many tinted or toned Japanese films in the early part of the 20th century and several private experiments. By that I mean it's like all the anime is yellow instead of it's not grayscale. It's all yellow or all one color basically. It's like yeah. I guess that sort of kind of blows your mind if you've never thought of it that way. I guess, but I've seen it, so I don't know. Nobuo Ofuji supposedly pioneered a two-color version of his Golden Flower from 1929, for example. Okay. Although the version released to the public was in monochrome. The first color anime to be actually released was Megumi Asano's My Baseball from 1948. But there are many quibbles and exceptions that might be raised, not the least moving picture toys sold for home use, many of which count in some sense as color animation, albeit never screened in theaters. Before the advent of recorded sound, it is arguable that anime was merely part of live dramatic entertainment, like Little Nemo creator Winsor McKay's Gertie the Dinosaur from 1914, whose performance required her creator to interact, Benchy style, in front of the screen. However, such hybrid performances were increasingly uncommon by the late 1920s, as anime began to exist as single artworks in their own right, integrating sound, story, and image in a unified whole. During the 1930s, the anime medium continued to grow in size and accomplishment. Although it became largely subsumed into the propaganda machine of an imperialist government, with Yasushi Murata's Ariel Momotaro being the first of the wartime anime. And that's a fair place to end it off on, as they do there, because I believe they have an article on wartime anime as well, and then it's pretty much from there. It's like wartime, Toei movies, Astro Boy. Pretty good article. That was what I was expecting, and I did not disappoint. I think that was really interesting. I also just like the fair and balancedness of like saying how it's like this, this is as far as we know, the kind of the earliest, and a lot of this stuff is lost, and etc. etc. I think that was very smart of them. Why do Japanese wear headband while studying or doing a stressful thing? Is it just an anime thing or real? I believe that one I can probably answer. My best guess is it has to do with their, this is a guess, the school festival. The thing that a lot of Japanese high schools or middle schools or elementary schools do, they have an event where the parents come over and they have two teams, a red team and a white team often, and they these two teams participate in a series of events, like a race, some competitions, things like that, and they often wear red or white headbands, as well as other things that mark them as, that mark them with like that particular thing. So like, and obviously like there's a camaraderie and a competition, hard work, and like let's do this type of thing. So that could be one origin. Although I think Greg is definitely pointing out a good one with laborers and soldiers used to wear headbands as well. I think there's a lot of stuff like that. But I think when it's terms of like studying or doing a stressful thing in anime, it's like you're thinking like a kid or something like that. I imagine in their context, like in their mind, it could be related to that. I think that would be a decent guess on my end. Again, I'm not trying to say that's for real or anything. Watch them all chronologically, coward. They're all short, but they can change the tint scene to scene. Okay, scene to scene. That fair enough. There you go. That makes sense. I was just picturing a certain thing in my head, and I thought they were being like, actually, technically, but that's what they're talking about. Okay, that's fair. But like Cozy, you say that because you did that. You also watched through all of this early stuff. I'm like, okay. And I'm not saying I'm not like against it. I just think there's other things I'm interested in watching right now, or diving into basically. Yeah, go to track. Let's freaking go. Love this track. Let's go. I'm making it louder because I like it. Yeah. It's cool. It's good. All right. Down to the no. There we go. Okay. They're honestly, the 43 minutes, it was good that took a little while because there wasn't too much in this reading. Not even that, like, there just weren't that many entries this time, which is fine. That's fine. But also, I just came back from work today. I was out all day, and so I read this yesterday. So if I forget some of this stuff or I have to figure out what I meant by some of these things, I apologize. So this is just 3rd edition, so meaning we're just going to go straight to opinions. Postboy saying, I guess I never thought about the real life parallels. I always thought the headband was just alright, let's get pumped up and do this thing. Yeah. I can tell you also, like, Hiromi from Aim for the Ace, that's like a big thing for her character, is that she wears a headband. She gets a headband. But it's like one of my favorite anime, so like it's embarrassing, but I don't quite remember the context of when she gets it or why. But it's a very similar dynamic. And that's a very early instance of like that's like her thing, is like the white headband. And it's not even just like a Naruto headband, it's sort of just like just a white strip of something. Anyway, so we're gonna go straight to opinions. Opinions. All right. Open wide. That was bad. All right. So positive reviews. A couple. They like the positive impression of DNA Hunter. I think it's a porn of some kind, but they seem to be fairly impressed with it. They say it's more than the sum of its parts because it's like, it actually kind of does some stuff. It's like, all right. Doki Doki School Hours, they thought was an interesting. They were a little flirty, but they didn't really go into this this is again an instance where they kind of sneak in their opinion a little bit and like, oh, that sounds like your opinion. But there are definitely some of these entries that they are reviewing this show. They are reviewing this. They are giving their take, sort of thing, like very directly. And I do want to separate which of those entries are their reviews and which one are just like, not that silly, or just like a little snide comment or something. I do want to make that separation. But Doki Doki School Hours, they kind of sneak in this little point of an interesting psychological point buried under this, buried underneath this and most school anime. Sadly, some nuance and references will be lost on non-Japanese viewers. And I took the sadly to mean like, oh, you're missing out because there's some good stuff here. So that's why I thought it was positive ultimately. Dojin Work, they thought the animation makes a virtue of being very cheap and basic. It's interesting in itself, but also keeps focus on humor. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then Durarara, they were positive about. It's not as less coherent and satisfying than its sibling, because they're like it's Baccano, you know, it's the same author, same director and writer, blah 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 blah, but still enjoyable in its own right. Okay, and they have some other little takes as well there too, but yeah, they're positive about that one. All right, yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna go pretty fast. I think, I don't know, it'll probably be like an hour or 30 or something. Disgaea, yeah, who's this Gaia? Thinly plotted, poorly structured, very silly series. Okay. Pretty negative there. Dog and Scissors. This had a particular comment that's a little strange. A little weird. No, really. This terrible idea. So this is one of the few let me read the synopsis of Dog and Scissors. It's actually a 2013 seasonal. So some of you guys might remember it, and it's funny because it did get dubbed on Funimation, and it's still on Crunchyroll. Actually, I think it's listed on Crunchyroll, but like I couldn't get access to the episodes, so there's something weird about that. But like, you look it up, and it's like, yeah, watch it on Funimation, and then it's like there's a dub cast, and it's like, oh. So they were really taken aback by this particular series. God damn it, I have to just control F it. It's so annoying to do this. But it takes so long to just scroll through this thing because I can only make the text so small and it shows up really skinny and ugh. Anyway, Dog and Scissors. Obsessive teenage reader Kazuhito Harumi is shot and killed at school. Although I read on Crunchyroll that in the synopsis it says it was part of a bank robbery or something. But okay. And reincarnated as a Dachshund, like a dog, like a little Dachshund dog. They don't say dog. Reincarnated as a Dachshund. I didn't know what that was until I looked it up. With a telepathic link to his favorite author. She, however, is a nutjob who enjoys tying him up and torturing him with scissors. They fight crime. No, really. This terrible idea, seemingly written by hurling darts at a board, is based on a book by Shunsuke Sarai that mixes sleuthing with the talking animals that have infested anime since I Am a Cat. That means, including the original author, it took 4 people to write this. 4! Despite the ridiculousness, depressing creative poverty of its genesis, and a sense that everybody on the production is entirely aware of what an awful show they are working on, one step above the test pattern that would otherwise fill airtime at 1 a.m., the show is of interest for the prominent billing of several Chinese animation studios. We refuse to blame them, however, for how terrible this is. You still can't get Legend of the Galactic Heroes in English. Just saying. Wow. They snapped on that one. A lot of these entries, there was nothing like this, and then they just go off, dude. And they had this little comment at the end, and like, God damn it, we get this in English and not Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Just saying. Although, of course, this was written in 2015, or before 2015. So, yes, it is now available in English. You can stream it, and you can get it on DVD, like I have it. I did purchase it for $900. Or $800. I forget what it was. It doesn't matter. I have it. I own it now. It's all mine. And here comes the snark. Yeah. Look, I mean, and I don't mean to like single it out in a way that make it seem representative of the whole encyclopedia. They really don't usually do this. But every so often it comes out, and it's quite thrilling. It's quite shocking. Maybe it was a bank robbery at school. I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It does look very silly and kind of 2013 seasonal. It certainly looks like a 2013 seasonal. Like, okay. But like, it was one of the rare times where they're going after a premise like that, like so harshly. But I don't know if anyone noticed it. That means, including the original author, it took 4 people to write this. they're talking about the they're talking about the writers of the script. Like, if you go on my, like, I literally looked this up earlier. Come on. Come on. They're talking about these three people. Like, the script writers. I'm not they clearly know more than me, right? We just read their article on early anime. They definitely know more than I do. Why do they think this is a problem? Like, this is oh, sick burn. 4 people wrote this. Is this not the most common thing? It's as common as, like, having one director. Like, it's usually, like, what is the proportion of anime that have more than one scriptwriter versus ones that only have one scriptwriter? Like, there's usually more than one. How is this an insult? How is this like it took 4 people to write this? This terrible idea, seemingly written by hurling darts at a board, is based on a book by Shunsuke Sarai that mixes sleuthing with the talking animals that have infested anime since I am a cat. That means, including the original author, it took 4 people to write this. Like, 4 in, like, italics. 4 people to write this. Period. 4! As an F, like, 4 with an exclamation point. Like, it's written literally like that. I'm like, and? Like, are you trying to make a point or something? That's the most common thing in the fucking world. The majority of anime is written by multiple people. What are they trying to say here? $900? It was a lot of money, Hazel. It was a lot of money. And they wouldn't put the price down. And I bought it because it was going out of stock. It was a limited run. It was finally going out of stock. And I was like, fuck it. And I did it. I bought the whole, I could go get it right now. But I wish I owned a copy of LGH. It's okay. I have it downloaded. So it's like, whatever. It's sort of just having it for the sake of having it. The only way to buy LGH was to get the limited edition. Yeah, 1,000 of them. Off topic, would you guys be willing to play the PS1 games if they were fan translated? I don't know. I think I saw like a soundtrack is classical, so like an 8-bit classical soundtrack, that'd be kind of cool. And like seeing the characters in 8-bit, like, I guess it'd be fun aesthetically. I don't know if I'd be necessary. I wouldn't need it translated. I would just play it raw. Is there a reason that's the only way? Yeah, it was just the stipulation of the licensor. They couldn't release it any other way. FMA had to switch five different writers on the staff. Exactly! No, like literally, you go into any anime. Go into literally any anime, and it's like the vast majority of them could be written by more than one person. If not, like, way more than 4, usually. And that's, like, no problem. I think the SNES game was translated. Yeah. Oh, so it's... Can you see it? It's right there. That's it. It's dark. But it's... Yeah, man! Yeah! It's worth it. It did not come in the best, the best condition, I guess, because it was obviously so old. But what was it? Just Serial 943. Hell yeah. It's just good for the sake of having it, man. Love that show. Worth it every time. Okay. Anyway, that was a weird review from them, but okay. They're very negative on that one. That's huge! Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's just cool to have the box, you know? Like, even just having the box is sick. Most anime have one main writer and several staff writers to help them out. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, whoa, all those people. It was the same thing with Beelzebub, where they were like, look at all those people animating on it. It's like, I think the SNES version has an incomplete translated. I wish they translate PS1 or PSP. I was actually talking to Greg about Tokimeki. Oh, sick. Oh, about Greg about Tokimeki. Oh, sorry. Fair enough. Okay, anyway. Negative about Dragon Age Dawn of the Seeker. Okay. Anyone with the remotest interest in plot, character, or animation won't be interested. Won't be. Because they're like, oh, if you like this thing, but you don't like, the thing most people care about, sort of dig, whatever. Predictable story about tedious characters. The reason I look towards the notes, I mean, it's ergonomically, I guess, pleasing or whatever, but like the reason is because I'm so vain. I like watching myself, but like if the camera was right here where I was looking mostly, it'd be better, but it's not there. It's there, but you know what, it could be here, it could be over there. I don't know, I have to figure it out. I like it over here though, because I like being able to, it's as if I'm reading the notes, or I don't know. Anyway, message retracted. Oh well. Predictable story about tedious characters. Okay. Dragon Crisis. Pile of cliches. There are canyons of cleavage. Let me just read the way that I don't know. I like the fact that they they say this as if it's a problem. They frame it like it's a problem. And not like I'm like, oh, booba, or like I'm not like that or something, right? But like, if that's the thing that the show's going for, then it's not a flaw necessarily. It's I don't know, it's weird. But like, you can have these other problems of it, but you don't have to be like, there's canyons of cleavage or whatever. Let me see. The alien girlfriend is only one of the pile of cliches under which this anime staggers. There's the kid living alone as his parents pursue their own careers. Okay. There's the childhood love, incredibly powerful but conveniently forgotten until the story needs it. There's the sexualized heroine who looks underage but isn't really human, as if that makes it perfectly normal. There are canyons of cleavage. That's just a sentence. There are canyons of cleavage. There's the fact that even the seemingly hostile girls really like Ryuji, from which you will discern that this is a harem anime, only with dragons and a Lord of the Rings reference. Nothing in the art, animation, or music compensates for the shortcomings of plot and character. Based on Kaya Kizaki, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Like, I think nothing in the art makes up, like, that last sentence there, like, is a more succinct way to put what you're trying to say here, but like, I don't know, too true. Shonen anime cannot be realistic for me. I always laugh when a character transforms. The enemy waits until the transformation is complete. Is not that a cartoon thing? Yeah, well, it's because it's supposed to be dramatic effect for the audience, to like kind of over, for the dramaticness of it. But technically, a lot of that happens very instantaneously. And the enemy, you can make the argument that the enemy doesn't necessarily have time to react in the same way. And that doesn't happen as often as you would expect in terms of the big transformation thing. At least I don't think so personally. But also, it's sort of, a lot of the time that transformation is supposed to be very stunning and like, oh my gosh, and even the enemy is sort of caught off guard by it. Or sometimes the enemy doesn't care. Like if you're doing that with Cell, he doesn't, I haven't seen DBZ technically, but from what I know about Cell, he thinks he's perfect. And even actually, perfect example with Perfect Cell is literally Vegeta let him transform because he has a motive behind that. So I don't, it's hard, it's not necessarily the smartest thing to generalize things like that, because you don't see the full picture and you don't get a better understanding of these things, and then you just be like, and move on, and that's fine, you can do that, but I think it's more important to have to understand media than just kind of like, I don't understand it, then look into it. See for yourself. Think about it. You know what I mean? But like, there's usually either the villain has a motive for not moving, for not doing anything, or he is genuinely emotionally kind of stunned and kind of like, you know, and doesn't really not sure what to do, or kind of dangerous and stuff. Or a lot of the time that actually doesn't actually happen as often as you think. But I might be just trying to defend anime more than it needs to, I guess. I'm just like that. And that's kind of my perspective with the Anime Encyclopedia, of course, too. Is just I like trying to take a lot of these shows as for the benefit of the doubt. I'm not trying to think of myself as above them in some way, just because I don't like a show. You know what I mean? Dragon Drive, they were negative about. At least I thought so. Yet another predictable gaming tale along Pokemon and its ilk. Dragon Drive is interesting. Very, very interesting, and I'll get to that in odd choices later. Dragonaut Resonance. CG doesn't work so well. Characters are less interesting. Every female presented as boobs on legs. I think I'll talk about that one later, too. Plot is entirely predictable. Okay. Dream Eater Mary, they were negative about. Watch Paprika if you want to see it done superbly. Animation is quite limited. Script moves frantic. Other times you may nod off. And I didn't put this in that particular entry point, but when they say watch Paprika if you do it done superbly, I take that as a negative based on what they were saying. A little, like, the context of that sentence is, I'll read it out because I don't want to just make it sound like I'm making shit up. As I do. As not as I do as in I usually make stuff. I don't. It's as I usually go out and find the thing that they said, and it's always a tedious hassle. Even though you can probably trust me on it. But anyway, probably. I don't believe in absolutes, okay? So I don't, you know, I don't want to just come off as some egoist or whatever. Like, you can trust me. Trust me, guys. Like, I'd like you to be able to make your own decisions. The idea of infiltrating dreams is a well-worn but interesting plot device with many possibilities, few of which are used here. Watch Paprika if you want to see it done superbly. You know what I mean? So it's just sort of like, okay, a bit of a dig. But then there's also other stuff like JC Staff provides pretty pictures, but the animation is quite limited. At points, the script moves at a frantic pace. At other points, you may nod off. So, pretty negative in my opinion. Not like harsh or anything, but they didn't say pretty much anything positive besides provides pretty pictures, but okay. Dream User, unfortunately not especially memorable. I could have put that in mixed, but no. It's not really anything positive about that. Diagrammation, repetitive. If you're buying for the Ava references, save your money. 3D rendered mecha are as cliche as the frame layouts. Thankfully, I'm not too far away from that entry. Hold on. This was so weird. Yeah. Monsters Attack Japan, or rather an international organization based in Odaiba in Tokyo. Though the enemy seems more interested in disrobing than disarming them. Even over 30 minutes, this can get repetitive. Although with English, French, and German subtitles, you can learn to talk dirty in 4 languages. If you're buying this for the visual references to Evangelion on the sleeve of Act 1, and we've heard feebler excuses, save your money. The 3D rendered mecha are as cliched as the frame layouts, designs, and multinational force of cuties hovering over one boy. The 3D rendered mecha are as cliched as the frame layouts? What does that mean? I just find that so strange, right? Where you just, it's like, oh, this frame layout is cliche. You know? like what? I get the designs being cliche, perhaps. The multinational force of cuties hovering around one boy being a cliche, sure. What does cliched as the frame layouts mean? I just thought that was so weird. It's like, what? All I know about Dragon Drive is that it has an awful GameCube game made by Treasure for some reason. Japanese teachers are very strict about the students' appearance, but in every shoujo high school anime I watch, what happened to discipline? Colorful hair colors in Japanese schools. At this point, I think you need to understand the concept of suspension of disbelief. But also, the trope. I think there's an interesting point that you're making about the school being very strict, not necessarily Japanese teachers, but rather the teachers enforcing a strict policy of the school itself having a strict policy. Not to actually you, but yeah, they find ways around and they don't really get punished or anything. They all still wear uniforms though, for the most part. Sometimes that gets pushed against or whatever. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's their actual hair color, man. What do you expect? I've never heard of Dragon Crisis until now. It looks really fun, even though the description wasn't flattering, of course. I think it's useful in that way. Yeah, so when it's like, oh, they're talking shit? Let's check it out. I guess that's a fun way to look at it, I think. If that's what you meant. I've heard of Dragon Crisis thanks to Demo D's review. I'll watch it eventually. Oh wow, Diagrammation also looks banging. I didn't know he reviewed it. Wow. Chanto no Minna ni Kyona. At least I think that was right. Chanto no Minna ni. This is what Perfect was saying here. I think I can read that. I think so. Anyway. Alright, mixed reviews. A couple of mixed ones. Dog Days, pretty but predictable. Okay. Dream Eater, well drawn and designed example of the genre, but very nasty. Because, Dream Eater's a porn. Of course, I don't doubt it. I bet it is. Drill Land, cute designs are all that really distinguish this from any other generic dungeon crawl. That could be more negative, but whatever. I have the beholder in this instance. Duel Masters, remarkable for the enthusiastic way it attempts to make children playing cards interesting. Although the authors dread the day when someone tries to animate paint drying. Come on. What the hell was that other one that they were like actually pretty nice about? That was like a card game, and it was like really glowing and everything. And okay, that's the thing about anime that I actually really like. If they made an anime about paint drying, they'd find a way to make it interesting, or at least kind of worth going out of your way to check it out, because that's hilarious. Like that does sound like something anime would do, and that's why I love it so much. It's just not like or like art, like not just like I like the experimental art stuff, right? That's cool, but like anime has that as well as random shit and weird stuff and really emotional stuff, hype stuff. Like the variety in it, the diversity, is one of the coolest things about it. So it's like if it had an anime about paint drying, I bet it would turn it into something really cool or crazy or something. Even if it's something we've seen it all before type of thing, I wouldn't care as much. I don't know if I'd personally go out of my way to watch it, but like I just respect and admire that it would exist. Sayonara. I wish Demo would come back again. He's on Twitch now. Yeah, he's still active. The same thing with Endless Jest, where he's active, but he just doesn't want to like the public publicity type of thing, and that's cool. More power to him. I mean, that's not a bad idea for me. Like, I kind of like that idea for me personally, but I don't want a bunch of people be like, oh, where's your videos? I like them or something. I couldn't stomach that personally. Do they compare Duel Masters to Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, of course they do. Like, what do you take this for? Let me read it. Let me read the... I'm not going to read the synopsis so much. Remarkable for the enthusiastic way it attempts to make the sight of children playing cards interesting, although the authors dread the day when someone tries to animate paint drying. A manga by... yeah, compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! At the end. A manga by Shigenobu Matsumoto was serialized in CoroCoro comic, and a movie version followed in 2005. Compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like Japan could make an ecchi about paint drying, not kink shaming. Dusk Maiden of Amnesia. Moody and rather stylish take on hoary cliches from like ghost stories. Periodically ruined by tedious flirting. Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the tedious flirting in Elgheim is actually making me like the show more. Like, I'm actually way more invested in the characters when they do that than, like, the plot. Because the plot's fine. I binged a lot of it last night. And I find myself, it's just like, I don't care as much about the plot or the mecha battles. A lot of the time, because it's very similar. Because I get that it's like a similar Tomino thing, where he's fighting the same recurring villains and stuff. Gradually, you know, progressing in some sort of way, but I don't know. That's sort of the battles in that show are really not grabbing me, but the characters are awesome. I love Amu. I love Leshy. I like the fairy girl. I haven't seen Dunbine yet, but I really like the fairy because she's just so quirky, funny. Doesn't talk all that much, so she's not like annoying. She's really cute and silly. It's great, and it's just there. Like, there's not many other fantasy elements besides that, and it's just like, wow, this just slaps. And of course, the animation's really quirky and still like goofy, and like the limited animation of it's just really poppy and fun. It's a good show. I just don't. It's like I just whatever about the mecha battles, or you know, it's okay. Duel Masters was literally made to capitalize on Yu-Gi-Oh! Success, so I think that's fair. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't mind comparison too much, but it's just a lot of this sort of gets out of hand, personally. Duel Masters was popular in Japan, just kind of existed over here. Yep. Technically, every sale animated show is watching paint dry since you're watching. Okay, cute. All right, yeah, all right, sure. Actually, fair enough. What does tedious flirting mean? I don't understand this concept. It does not compute. No, it's literally just like they're just teasing each other and being characters. Where's my plot? That's what they mean. The thing is, right? There's too many of these anime for them that just have the characters existing. And they're not doing anything. And they're just talking and chatty, and you know, that's the thing, right? If the characters aren't cute, what's the point? You can quote me on that. Like, you fucking quote me on that. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Why? It's the Reggie Fils-Aimé quote. It's like, if a game isn't fun, why bother? Or I think that's something like that. I think it's something like that. It really is just sort of like, it's the way that Liz enjoys anime in the sort of the very, what it seems like a very moment to moment girl, like the way she posts the screen cap. It's like, woman, you know, like that sort of enjoyment is so endearing and awesome, and what I want to aspire to. As well as watch as much anime as Liz has. So true. Yeah. I think characters with each other. Like, Duel Master was meant to be a Japanese localization of Magic the Gathering. Really? Oh, that's reaching into my brain, and I think I can remember that. I think that makes sense. Yeah, I can imagine that. All right. Yeah, that was fun though. Dusk Maiden of Amnesia. Yeah, tedious flirting. Anyway, those are the opinions. Spoilers. Only spoilers for Dreamy Urashima because it's 5 minutes. This is the one from 1925, like one of those shorts. It's 5 minutes, so they describe everything. Hazel, I love having you in chat. Honestly, it's the best. Thank you for being here. This guy. So this guy is mysteriously entered twice in the Anime Encyclopedia. At least the third edition, because this is like a new one of the newer shows. It's not in the first one. It's in the book twice. Like, huh? And like, I'm not gonna like clown him on it. It is what it is. But it's just sort of like interesting. And also, you probably wouldn't even notice because it's like some kind of a random show. Let me see if I can. I want to pull it up for you guys just to give you the evidence. Yeah, this guy. Where's the? I just want to put the font a little bigger. The font. Yeah, perfect. Check this out. Yeah, this guy. 2006. So like literally, 2006. It's the same Japanese name, same AKA TV series, same director, same animation. They're not credited, and then animation. And they're not credited. Okay, design is one person, and then this one has two people. Ooh, Takebi Sato, Oriental Light and Magic, D-Rights. 30 minutes, 12 episodes. 25 minutes, 12 episodes. Laharl. The guy's name is Prince Laharl. The thing is, right, it's completely different. So this makes me think this was the original synopsis. Because it's from 2006, this was like the second edition when they didn't have that much information about it, besides, because like it hadn't come out yet, basically. They just kind of read the synopsis or whatever. And then here, they give a much more detailed synopsis, and then it's, obviously this is also based on the game, whatever. But then they give their little opinion about this guy. None of them make much improvement to the outcome. This is a thinly plotted, poorly structured, very silly series which is designed to look as if you should appeal to young children. However, it is peppered with cruel verbal and visual jokes that would horrify parents, and they would probably make the small boys snigger. What a word. Anyway. Glad to be here. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. I remember after saying some more Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I mean, I'm not saying Duel Masters doesn't take inspiration from Yu-Gi-Oh, but that wasn't the sole reason. Yeah. But people in Japan already were playing Magic the Gathering for years by that point. I was thinking it was meant to get younger people into Magic. This is kind of sick. I didn't even know there's a Disgaea. This guy. Oh, there's another thing about that. Here's a curiosity. So this first one, Disgaea, this guy, it goes to the video game franchise, and then Disgaea, it goes to the anime series based on the video game. So like, they knew it was two different things, but they huh? You know what I mean? Kind of strange. Anyway, little fluke. Interesting. Disqualified doctor. For a long time, we had this confused with RXXX, prescription of pain. Sorry, but for a while, they all start to look the same. I've said this before, but it's just another example here, where I think it's just they're watching too much porn. I think they are literally watching too much of this hentai, and it's souring them on the medium. It's sort of starting to like obfuscate their original goal of being like, hey guys, anime is so much more than Pokemon and violence and nudity. It has so much variety, and like, I think they are succeeding in some degree, especially when I'll repeat, I haven't said it in a while, but like, this is the first time a ton of this anime has ever been talked about in the English language. That is huge. This is really significant. And so it's like I still really admire them for that that goal, But things like this was like, oh yeah, for a long time we had this confused with this other hentai. Sorry, but for a while they all start to look the same. I just don't like having that. They can have that attitude. I can imagine not having. I certainly don't blame them for having this attitude, but it's kind of telling that they would say it like this, and that they would actually point this out, you know. And it's sort of that's the sort of mentality that they have, almost. And it's like, oh, that was just a snide, you shouldn't take it that seriously or something. I don't know. This is a book with your name on it, published work. You know what I mean? I would feel like everything in this book you would want to really stand by, including all these little things. Believe in the heart. While fans 100% love this phrase in Yu-Gi-Oh, but we all know, and it's become a serious meme, the true meaning of Yugi's catchphrase doesn't make any sense. Actually, the true meaning of friendship, the believe in the heart while fans, yeah, so like the friendship thing, that's a Kinnikuman reference. There's literally friendship power in it's like a canonical thing. Friendship power. So don't mess with it. It's cool. It's just like a fun, silly way to be like, to kind of explain why certain things, you know, for plot convenience. But to think of it like that as a negative thing, I think is, you know, very disserviceable and uncharitable to writing this kind of fiction. Because you want, you know, it's super hard to write this stuff in a believable way that's exciting and fun. Like, it wouldn't, like, if it was realistic, right, then it's like, you know, it would be really tough. I don't know. And also just Yu-Gi-Oh, it in particular, Yu-Gi-Oh, if you're making it as an example. Especially if you watch something like the latest movie, like Darkness or something, I don't remember. Kingdom, I don't remember the name of the movie. Into the Dark Dimensions or something. That's like it's kind of the anniversary movie with Yugi and Kaiba. That movie, you just watch it and it's just so elevated and melodramatic, and it's not really about the game or realism. It's sort of just like a feeling and very amped up and campy, you know. And camp is fun, and I guess some people maybe get like defensive about camp or something. I don't get defensive about. I think camp is awesome. I don't know, or maybe they're like, oh, don't misconstrue what it actually is or something. But I don't know. To me, I think Yu-Gi-Oh is camp, and a very sincere, earnest, and you know, pretty cool. I really enjoy it. But not making any sense, you know. Making sense is overrated, in my opinion. Break the boundaries of common sense. Gurren Lagann. Not that show is anywhere close to my favorites. If you'd be surprised, you'd be surprised probably. Watching any hentai while writing this book was a waste of time. I think so, personally. I think that energy and time and focus could have definitely been spent on the titles that matter. You know, it's kind of fun to poke to like and include this entry of "Do you know the Milfing Man?" That is an entry in this encyclopedia. Do you know the Milfing Man? And they're like, "Oh, that was funny." Like they put that in there. Like, "Oh, that was to the delight of the titles." They sunk a new low. It was pretty funny. It is funny, but like, I don't know. They definitely could have spent that time to watch 23 episodes of Aim for the Ace. And not just boil everything down and be like, oh, it's cliches. Come on. Kinnikuman popularized the power of friendship in anime. And manga. Mostly manga, but then anime as well. Let's go back to the notes. D and Angel focuses less on love itself than on means of coping with rejection, compared to Koikaze. Now, who here in the chat, all however many of you, I don't want to check the numbers because I'm self-conscious, how many of you have seen Koikaze? And if so, does this make any sense? Focuses D and Angel, like a lot of anime, I should give the full quote, as usual. DNN. DNN. DN Angel. Like many other romantic anime of the early 21st century, it focuses less on love itself than on means of coping with rejection, compared to koikaze. So, maybe I'm misremembering koikaze, but to my knowledge, from what I remember watching of it, there's no rejection there. It's not so much coping with rejection as it is coping with really yikes, socially unacceptable, really uncomfortable feelings of genuine attraction that both of them have. I don't know if people have seen koikaze, but like both, it's not just it's not one-sided. It is not a one-sided romance. And it's not about rejection. It's less about rejection and more about like, okay, how do we deal with this without being socially ostracized and or put in prison, perhaps. This is believe it. I've seen koikaze. I've not. I have like a decade ago. It doesn't sound like koikaze at all. You're right. There is no rejection. Yeah. Am I crazy? Like, I was like, okay. Maybe I'm just a dum-dum, which I sometimes am. I very often, I shouldn't even say sometimes. There's so many anime where the plot very much went over my head, and I didn't understand what happened. But I remember the feeling. I just remember the characters and what I was experiencing and the sounds and the vibe. That's usually what I remember the most out of a lot of anime. And just like of the feeling of, I liked it, or I really liked it, or I didn't really like it, or that was awful. But you know, I can't, it's so often I can't articulate particular things. I try not to, because, yeah. But yeah, no, to my knowledge, that doesn't make any sense. But that was weird. But maybe they're just doing, but like the sentence, the way they write that is coping with rejection hyphen compared to koikaze. They didn't do a period and then just say compare DN Angel to koikaze, which also would be kind of strange. Like from what I understand of DN Angel, based on their description of it, based on their synopsis and kind of the vague what I can remember of it. Not that I've seen it, but like I've heard of the title at least. Like, I don't think it's about incest, right? Oh well. Dog and Scissors took 4 people to write this. 4, and then, yeah, all this kind of weird stuff. Also, I didn't mention this when we were talking about Dog and Scissors. KKLGH in English just saying, you know, this is a good sign. This is a very good sign that they like it. That it's a positive review of LGH. I hope so. Well, here's hoping. Double Wish. Perhaps they don't remember Love Hina either. I don't know why they had to say that. It was just a weird dig. And also just like invoking the word of Love Hina means it's bad. It's like, oh, it's like Love Hina, therefore bad. It just, not like I'm a Love Hina fan or anything. I've not seen it or anything like that. But just to use a show to degrade another show is sort of like, right, yeah, to me. Let me read the synopsis because it blends into the synopsis. The Tonho twins, Juna and his sister Senna, so they're twins, but it's a boy and girl twin pair, have lived alone in their family home since their parents died some years ago. They attend Sakurahama Private High School, where Juna is the target of attention from a number of girls. Then, new student Haruhi Inohara turns up claiming to be a childhood friend, but Juna barely remembers her, and Senna doesn't want him to. Presumably, they don't remember Love Hina either. Juna is the target of attention from a number of girls. The new student turns up claiming to be a childhood friend, but Juna barely remembers her, and Senna doesn't want him to. Presumably, they don't remember Love Hina either. I was like, oh, that's a Love Hina thing. Okay. And I guess that's, I don't know. It's weird. Do they mention that Koikaze does deal with love? Because compared, I guess because it deals with love, but they were like many romantic anime of the 21st century, and then of all the things they do with this compared to Koikaze, I just think that's so strange. Like if they're saying that this is like similar to almost all, like a lot of 21st century romantic anime, they could have picked a lot of other titles than just that. All I know about D and Angel is that the author dislikes the anime. Why are they complaining of comparing D and Angel with Koikaze? Did they think that when the MC started going out with his crush's little sister that was his own little sister? Like what? I don't know. I've not seen D and Angel. All I remember about Love Hina is that Sho Aikawa wrote the anime. Really? That's interesting. I would not have expected that. I'm watching Neoranga right now. That's another thing that he wrote. Interesting. Oh, Love Hina Peak? That might be Peak? Yeah, that's funny. I get, like, maybe I'm kind of naysaying them, like shaming them in some choices that I've participated in myself, perhaps. And that could be totally fair. If I'm being a hypocrite in any of this, I completely own it. I get it. But you see, I still think it's worth pointing out and talking about and discussing, especially because when it's like, oh, I don't like that when somebody does that talking about anime. I don't want to do that. You know, it makes me become a better person where I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I do that too. There might be a little bit of self-reflection there. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't just use an anime to dig another anime like that. Because it creates this weird, unfair, uncharitable, annoying type of... the reasons I don't like it. You know, it gives me bad vibes, personally. Fun fact, the Love Hina author is running for political office. I think I heard about that, yeah. Do you know that in a crossover comic titled Attack on Avengers, the 8-page adventure plays out the scenario of what happens when Titans evade the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It's very interesting. Yeah, I heard about that. Like a crossover. That was when Attack on Titan was like a runaway success. Huge. And it's really, yeah. I don't think anybody anticipated that, of how insanely successful it was. And that's why there was a big gap in the anime between 2013 and 2017, because Wit Studio had planned all their stuff that far in advance, and they weren't intending to make a more Attack on Titan, but the demand was insane. So it's like, okay, all right, sure. And then they stalled a little bit with they bided time with Attack on Titan Junior High, for example. Or I think it was another studio that did that, JC Staff, I think. I don't know, but not Wit specifically. But like, it's because Wit hadn't been working on it. It's free online legally. Oh, nice. Aikawa was actually the creator of Neoranga. No, right. No, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he was also writing it, but he's like, he's on like the copy line too. So he's like the OG creator for sure. Hi Shaves, just woke up. Did I miss anything interesting? It's been a very low-key stream. We read early anime, their article about anime from 1905 to 1930s or so. And then it's been mostly like the opinions. There was like the Dog and Scissors one was kind of outrageous, and because it was just very brazen. And then some of the odd choices we've been discussing here, but nothing insane or like earth-shattering this time, which is fine. I started the Neoranga but never finished it. OP is cool. It's okay. It's fun. Where was I? Double J. Here's the other, very similar to Disqualified Doctor here. Double J. Honestly, we thought it was going to be about boobs. This is what happens when you have to wade through so much porn. They're self-aware. They're literally self-aware. They went into this show. Let me explain what Double D is. Don't worry, it's absolutely not what they think it is. Let me actually just pull it up on now. like, absolutely. I should probably also just look up like anime. Yeah, like just look what this looks like. Like it's not at all what you know. Let me read the description of this because it is just like, wait, what is this, some school show or oh yeah. At Hajime and Sayo's school, joining an after-school club is mandatory. So when the two find a new club, they check it out and find a strange group handcrafting toothpicks, mats, and other objects. Some crafts and customs die out for a reason, but the Cultural Activity Preservation Club exists to fly in the teeth of reason in this short gag anime based on Eiji Nonaka's 2009 manga illustrated by Maru Asakura, part of NTV's Uranai anthology show. Honestly, we thought it was going to be about boobs. This is what happens when you have to wade through so much porn. And maybe that's just a self-deprecating kind of joke, and it's sort of just like, just to make you laugh, and they're not really to take you that seriously. But, you know, it comes off to me a little mask off, personally. Of like, yeah, that is a problem, isn't it? Maybe that's an actual issue. that you've watched too much of this anime porn, that like, and you didn't spend any of that time watching a lot of the. And great, maybe it's not collectively not that much time. Oh my god, remember that comment so far back? I forget what entry they did this for, but they literally wrote in one part like, "You're going to die someday." Like this is not worth your precious time. You're gonna die someday. You only have this many hours in the day, and this many hours of the average lifespan is 75 years. You're gonna die someday, and this is not worth the watch. Says the people watching all this porn for entry's sake, because it's short. Like, my guess is, I've said this before, but my guess the reason they watch all of this stuff is because it's so short. So they're able to give you the description of everything. So strange. It's super evident that the studio and staff for Attack on Titan were super passionate about making the anime. It's weird that the producers were so surprised by its success. It's not that they were surprised. It's that like, you know, their Wit Studio's thing, and this is explained in Canipa Effects video on Attack on Titan, which is great. The inception of that studio was to make incredibly high quality, high polish products, and they put a lot of super passion in it, and then move on to the next thing. They weren't trying to be like the next season of something and trying to make a full adaptation or something. That wasn't necessarily their intention. So by the success, I mean, they were happy with the success, but like to the point where people were expecting them to make more, it was like, oh, they were not planning that, and that's why it took so long to because they were busy, they were booked. I mean, the writer and director were fans of the manga, which makes the change in staff for season 4 so sad. Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? It's the overwhelming demand of fans and general people, I guess, for the anime to be a complete adaptation, when that's not always necessarily not warranted, but like deserved or expected. Like, you think of how many anime aren't complete adaptations. It's rare, or even adaptations at all. In some cases, it's not meant to, you know, because then wouldn't you make the argument that it supplants the manga, the original material, potentially? I don't know. Now I remember the Canipa video. But to be fair, again, to Full Man about the 4th season of Attack on Titan, I've actually enjoyed it more than the majority of the show. I really like the final season. Maybe that's just more because of the plots, because of the actual stuff that happens in it, and I was anime only. I hadn't read the manga at that point. But that may just be me. Dragon Drive. Right. Yes, so this was interesting. They say here, let me go to Dragon Drive. Dragon Drive. Okay. The usual rounds of challenges, counter-challenges, and battles to save the world ensue, and 2 years later in Legends, they all ensue again. So when they say that in the article about Dragon Drive, when they say, and 2 years later in Legends, they all ensue again. I'm like, okay, is that like a sequel? Is Legends like a sequel to Dragon Drive? So let me pull up the desktop. Let me pull up Dragon. This is what I did. This is literally what I did. I pulled up Dragon Drive, and then I clicked on their link to Legends, because they link a lot in the third edition. And I clicked on Legends. This is the author, Rin Hirai, Kenichi Sakura. Okay. Different authors. They were in the same magazine, Monthly Shonen Jump. Really close to each other, too. This ran from 2001 to 2006, and Legends only ran from 2003 to 2005 for only 4 volumes. You know? Although, what's really interesting that I was surprised at to look at this here, Dragon Drive is 14 volumes, and Madhouse made 38 episodes. Legends only goes for 4 volumes, and it goes for 50 episodes. Studio Gallop. Absolute champs. Also, Akitaro Daiichi directed this one. And this is where it gets really interesting. You look, it's like, okay, that's like the manga cover. What's the anime look like? What? What? Huh? Isn't that interesting? And I really like their article for it, actually, because I ended up reading it. Who remembers Dragon Drive 2? An event that will come as no surprise to anyone who remembers Dragon Drive 2 years earlier. The Talus Pod is a device that can blah, 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 and then they just give more synopsis. Pokemon with Dragons, anyone? Director Daiichi helms another comical, cutely designed children's story, this time adapted by Hiroshi Nagahama from Kenji Watanabe's original manga in Shonen Jump Monthly, but with some stylistic similarities to his own Girl Power. Girl Power is... you've probably seen it around. Oh, let me not do that one. Hold on. That's just the Anime Encyclopedia again. Girl Power. Sorry, I'm not checking the chat too much. Oh. There it is. Makase Iruka. That's what I wanted. Fucking Makase Iruka. Can I just put anime, please? Not this Western shit. Still a lot of the Western shit shows up, but yeah. Let me just do Makase Iruka. Oh, sure. Cool. Annoying. But yeah. Really cute show. Really short, too. Like 1 episode, I think. I really enjoy this one. I've actually seen it. But yeah, Legend does have a very similar art style. And look at those backgrounds? Hold on a sec. I'm just looking at I'm just noticing this literally right now. No way, dude. That's not who I think it is it? I have Mal pulled up over there. You legends! I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Wait, is this like the movie? Oh no, this is the show. This is the show. Who is... alright. I thought it was Shichiro Kobayashi. Doesn't that look like Windy Tales backgrounds and like the style of the bridge there? Kind of looked like it to me. But this looks cute. Really interesting. So that was cool, a cool dive that I did. But like, why would they have to like snark it like that? Like, and 2 years later, they do it all again. And like, you compare the two of them. Like, here's the synopsis for each of these. Let me just read what they say about each of these shows. Just not the whole thing. This is for Dragon Drive. Let me just pull Dragon Drive up. Reiji is a typical slacker teenager dragged by his friend Maiko to a secret arcade where he discovers a passion for the VR game Dragon Drive. The object of the game is to train and fight with virtual reality dragons, a DNA-centric version of the old barcodes, and he gets like a tiny Snow White bundle of cuteness that baffles the staff. When he gets in action, he turns it to have impressive firepower. In what begins as yet another predictable gaming tale framed along the lines of Pokemon and its ilk. Although I would argue that having it virtual reality and kind of the real world and all that stuff is fundamentally different from Pokemon, where Pokemon are actual creatures in their world and they exist, you know? And then, however, a few episodes long, Dragon Drive suddenly adopts a new direction, where Reiji transported to the fantasy world where the dragons are real. He's soon entering Chibisuke in gladiatorial combats, but is forced to deal with problems back home when a rival returns to Earth with some precious Dragonite element. Legends is New York. Shu gets a game machine called a Talus Pod, developed by his father. It doesn't play the game it was designed for, so Shu thinks it's broken, until Chiron, the white wind dragon, emerges, an event that will come as no surprise. The Talus Pod is a device that can revive ancient myths. Soon it will be needed to protect the world from a new evil. The Dark Wiz Company is planning to take over the world, and Chiron's... But, like, this already sort of sounds kind of different, you know? And these differences do make a difference. As dumb as stupid as that sounds, maybe it all comes to the same endpoint for some people. For people who are, like, media poisoned like this, they're just like, oh, it's just the good guys win. Don't fucking boil media down like that. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming them for saying that specifically. I don't want to try to put words in their mouth. But, like, just looking at the thing and be like, oh, it's like Pokemon. Like, you're literally... that's some stuff that Anime Snob does. You know what I mean? And it's, like, it's one thing... I get it that you can categorize and put these things, oh, this is a horror, this is a mecha. And it's, like, these certain things are bound to happen and are expected to happen. But I don't think that should be used as, like, oh, it's like Pokemon, therefore it sucks. Because first of all, Pokemon is actually pretty cool and fun. Even as someone who is very critical of certain aspects of it or something. But, like, actually coming from the point of, like, taking it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, not even on its premise. You're not criticizing something on its premise. I don't like people criticizing something on its premise. I can understand people being like, I'm not interested in that. And that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to watch all the anime. You really don't. But to say something is bad because of that, or, like, inferior or something, is lame. It's gay, is what I'm sorry. Early 2000s humor. A little derogatory. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't want to be buzzkill. I hope people are take that playfully. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't know. Yeah, I feel bad now. I'm sorry. I can't say anything now. Yes, I can. But, you know. It's gay, and therefore it's a good thing, is what I'm trying to say. I stopped caring about AOT after the staff change. The show feels so lifeless now. I don't know. I think the Colossal Titan looks a lot better than it did in season 2 and 3. That's just me. Let's go. Daichi also directed This is Another Star, so chibi parody seemed to be his thing. Well, Daichi does a lot. Daichi does quite a lot, actually. Girl Power Peak. Romy Park versus the lead? Love her as Lauren. Yeah, Romy Park's pretty good. I like her in Nana. That's Nana, I think? I think so. I'm still enjoying the new episodes of AOT, but everyone looks deathly serious even here after hearing a joke. It's a big track. Of course they look deadly serious. It's a deadly serious situation that they're in. Do you know what's going on in Attack on Titan right now? Of course. That's so funny. But also the funny moments, but, like, we find them funny. but it's because they're taking it completely seriously. You don't need to apologize so much. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's how like self-conscious I am, honestly. I think Coolsville sucks. Yeah. It's hard. I'm hopefully gonna be very not mask off, but like very blunt with my Naruto videos, because I'm throwing some punches in that video. Let's just say that. The community is about to get a taste. Stop complaining! Sorry if that was really loud. My bad. I saw that on the thing. My bad. I'm gonna try not doing that. Hopefully YouTube is YouTube does its thing and auto adjusts it. I don't know. Where is it? Makasete. Yeah, I probably just spelled it wrong. Sorry. Animation runner Kuromi by the same director as Willpower. Kuromi for the win. I own the DVD. Kuromi needs more love. Basically a Shurabaka before that existed. Yeah. Have we gotten to Dirty Pair? Yes. Dirty Pair was the last entry from the previous 2 streams. So that was 3 show streams ago. So it's there. I've talked about it. They don't really say much about it, from what I remember. I don't even bother reading the premise going into anime. It's nothing to do with the quality. Me too, Greg. Me too. Absolutely same. I don't know what started me from stop reading the premise. I guess I don't know. It just never really mattered to me. I think maybe when like I read the one for Yuri Kuma and then it didn't matter because I watched it and I didn't know what was going on. And it's like, well, this doesn't matter. I have your audio up 200% and nothing you've done was loud. I'm sorry. Jeez. Okay. Fine. Oh, also, you're one to talk. You're one to talk with some of the stuff you've made. Some of them you've made in the past with how freaking absurdly loud, literally noise album ass. Like, I remember that one kukri thing you did. Like, this one thing you made that I was like, oh! And, like, my ears were gonna die. But maybe your hearing is also probably kind of fucked. I bet that's why. I'm sorry. Yeah. To be fair, I'm not a big fan of the manga. I just like how the original anime staff adapted it. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think the facial expressions are being used as improper moments in the map episodes. Connie looks at everyone like they killed his mom. Well, yeah, Connie's gone through a lot of shit. Connie's not having a good time. I don't see him. I don't know why he would have any other face, but absolutely pissed. I wouldn't even if like there was a long amount of time since, I don't want to spoil Attack on Titan, the major thing that happens in the final season. I mean, there's a lot of major things, but the kind of major death early on. No, I'm sorry. No. It was a while ago. It was so long ago. It was just funny. It was just like a thing that happened. But I think facial, yeah. After they shared a calm moment. Fun fact, the first 3 seasons were directed by the guy from yeah, I know. Yeah, Tetsuo Araki. But he was mainly in charge of the first season, and then he oversaw. He was a series director, kind of more of a hands-off overseer for the other seasons. And written by the woman who also wrote Claymore and JoJo. Pretty anime, but Claymore and JoJo are both based on manga, so it's how scripty are they kind of thing. But that's I like that staff stuff. Started watching Argento Soma after the Ava clone talk last time. It's pretty good so far. Awesome! I'm glad you like that one. I really like Argento Soma. I thought it was really fun and interesting. And not like Ava at all. Like, it has flavors of Ava, for sure. But it's its own experience. And I would definitely go to Argento Soma for the things Argento Soma does well, and I'd watch Ava for what Ava does well. Yeah, my hearing is seriously damaged. I'm trying to take very care of my ears now. I mean, yeah, sheesh. I hear awful things about hearing loss that are really sad and just yikes sort of thing. So yeah, I hope you do take care of it and just try not to listen to it as much. Anywho, Um, Dragon Drive. Yeah, so the Dragon the Legends thing was just sort of weird and kind of an odd choice. But I was happy to go into that dive because I thought it was interesting. Dragonaut. Boobs on legs. It's a sign that no other kind of development is likely. Now, I hate to like scrutinize their writing here. I mean, that's really what we're doing here, really. Like, what else are we doing here for? Almost up 2 hours, actually. I'm surprised. Maybe just because I've been talking so much. Yeah, I would compare it to Ava. Boobs on legs is a sign that no other kind of development is likely. So, like, you're just going to dismiss a lot of these shows that they actually present the character. And they're like, name a show like that. That's my thing, though. My memory is so shitty, dude. But, like, a lot of the things I can think of are, like, Gintama. There's a couple characters in that where boobs big. I was also thinking about One Piece, too. Because it's a similar thing, right? With, like, boobs on legs or something. And it's funny because the characters they are so well endowed, but they're very skinny. And it's, like, the funniness of their character design. Like a quirk. But I think it's really kind of yikes that they just dismiss things like that. And I guess maybe I'm just over scrutinizing what they're saying here. What do I have? Oh, sorry. I have the notes up. Boobs on legs. It's a sign that no other character kind of development is likely. Like, I get it. And they're like, no, but they're likely. That means there are exceptions. But, like, it's just not the right mentality to go into a piece of media for me. If you see a character with big boobs, and your immediate thought is, uh-oh, that character's not going to be not going to be a good character because she has big boobs. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Seriously. Honestly. Literally just pay attention to the show. I don't want to be holier than thou, but I don't even think about the boobs. I really don't. I really just think like, oh, this is a character. Like, if I want boobs, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Like, whatever, man. And I think a lot of anime fans understand that. And the thing is, like, and this is just, like, maybe my perspective about it, but, like, that sort of, like, fan service stuff, it's secondary. It's a secondary enjoyment. But that means just more enjoyment. That doesn't take away from, oh no, boobs, I can't enjoy the show more. Do you know how, like, dumb that sounds? Or just, like, anything. Oh no, a man's abs. I don't know, some other fan servicey thing. Literally, if a show has giant robots, and you love giant robots, that show's gonna be better for you. You're gonna like that show more. Because you like the giant robot. It's the same, I know it sounds really galaxy-brained, and I'm currently kind of hinting at and preaching, an aspect of my Naruto video where I'm talking about Best Girl. If you latch onto a character, and then I'm actually really happy Hazel's in the chat with it because, you know, she's watching Mikagura right now, and Lisa's also watching it, and like, who gives a fuck about the plot in that show, or the development, or fucking who cares? Girl cute, or like really funny interaction, or just like seeing that girl and like attaching yourself onto that main character for the reason I enjoyed that show, and it was one of the few shows that like I watched as seasonal anime that I didn't fucking fall asleep to and like fucking not loathe, but like was so aggressively mid, like disturbingly mediocre for some of these seasonals. It's because I latched onto a character and liked them, and it didn't matter. Nothing mattered. I actually liked just watching the character, and it was a fun show. You know what I mean? And that sort of dynamic, if you find something like that in a show, it's all over. You're gonna like that show, man. It doesn't matter about all this other blah blah whatever random shit. You know, it's sort of like enjoyment's really important, because then it gets you to kind of be open-minded to the things that the show is trying to say. If you like the show on an aesthetic level, then you're going to be more receptive to what it wants, or be more on its side, you know? But if there's no characters that you're interested in, or enjoy, or like, or there's anything that's attracted to you in any surface level way, like, oh, she ate a hamburger, that's funny. I like that. Like, if it doesn't do any of that, like, it doesn't have any endearing moments or anything like that, it's numb. It doesn't phase you, and it doesn't you don't get anything out of it. And that's when a show becomes not your thing. But that's just it. Not your thing. If it did it for somebody else, then that's why they like the show. Am I fucking crazy? Am I being insane? Like, is this getting through to anyone? So it's this comment of like, oh, boobs on legs. This must be no other kind of development is likely. I don't get it. If you like the character, even for the simplest of stupidest of reasons, oh, she has boobs, like she has a good character design, then you're gonna like that show. And that's kind of what matters at the end of the day, doesn't it? Like, why complain about that, in my perspective? Let me read the comments now. So true. Yeah, I hate the mentality. It's so narrow-minded and unintentionally sexist. That too, it also is kind of sexist as well, but that's a whole other thing that I don't want to try to argue for because it's not my thing. Tedious flirting is all I enjoy. That's right. Like, you know what I mean? But like, if you don't care about the characters and they're doing this tedious flirting, then yeah, of course it's useless to you. Of course. I'm not gonna argue against that. But the existence of like, oh, there's tedious flirting, therefore bad. It's just so dumb. The point is that you enjoy the characters or you enjoy the setting or something, you know? Anybody got thoughts about One Piece coming back on Adult Swim? I heard that they are starting right after the time skip. And this is just sort of an interesting, because the thing is, right, I think One Piece fans have had this sort of chip on their shoulder. This is just speculation. There's a bit of the chip on their shoulder where it didn't get a good rap the way the other two did. The way that Bleach and Naruto got to be on Cartoon Network. Did Bleach get to be on Cartoon Network? I don't remember. I know Naruto did. I don't remember if Bleach was or not, or like you know whatever. But like they tried. Toonami has tried with One Piece, and it didn't really work out, and it was kind of dipped in ratings and stuff, and so they took it off. And that's happened several times. So this is a third attempt, I believe, that they're trying to actually get this to kind of get some traction somewhere. But right now, it does seem like it's a way more popular series in Japan than it is in the United States. And, people can make certain arguments and things like that of like, because of 4Kids ruined it or something, or, I think it could be the art style. Honestly, I think that's what turns a lot of people off onto it on an initial watch. It's not cool. It's cool in a contextual way. It's really cool knowing how strong Luffy is and how cool Zoro is when you watch the show. But you don't get that when you just kind of know about it or see it through osmosis. You don't get it until you watch it and you see Zoro on that cross, like the first shot of Zoro, like right there, and the dome, and it's like, oh, this is cool, and that's the feeling, right? But it's hard to get that. It's not the same thing, Also, Shaves, you better watch your step when you talk about 2015 seasonals like that. I will find you. Look, I will go through my taiga. Let me pull up my completed anime. Let me make a new hold on. Let me be right back for a second. Where do I? I'm gonna keep my mic on just in case. Because whatever. Okay, where am I at? Desktop. I want to add a display. No. Browser? Window capture. Yeah, this Taiga thing, please. Can you... Look, I'm sorry. This is either... I don't know, make it fucking... Okay. I guess that works. Okay. Here is my completed Mal. Not Mal. Kitsu. It doesn't get bigger than that. I'm sorry. Let's go... Actually, well, yeah, that's fine. Let's go to 7. Look at all the shit that I watched over the recent versus all of this other. Yeah, whatever. Where? Okay, 2015. Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Naruto the Last, great. Shingeki no Kyojin, that one, meh. Book of Murder, good. Death Parade meh. I know, hot take. High school defend. I just noticed the pop-ups don't show up. That's annoying. Binan Coco. This is the magical high school magical boy. They turned into magical boys. I enjoyed that. Yuri Kumarashi, amazing. Kofoku Graffiti, I thought it was meh, but I'm more warm on it now because I expect it for what it is. I was mid on Assassination Classroom personally. Mid on Part 3. Liked Mushishi, of course. Kido Sensei Origin, of course. Americoco I actually watched. Rainy Coco. I thought it was meh, but like I actually have a little like some fondness for it. Like later on, because like oh that was kind of quirky. Vampire Homes was really bad. Just kind of boring and didn't really know what it was doing. Mikagura, there it is. Yep, good. Gunslinger Stratos I really didn't like. I watched it because it was a Generabuchi thing. It's really dumb. Like it shows like this though is like I'm not fucking watching seasonal anime. It's not fucking worth it. But maybe I should have just seen it from a mile away. Punchline I thought it was meh, but you know I actually do respect it a lot more. I think if I rewatched it, I would like it a lot more and probably give it a good. Awari no Seraph, meh. You know, I was just also a lot more critical around this time when I was watching these as they were coming out. Like this is before 2016 when I was watching when I watched Ashino Joe and the cynic in me literally fucking disintegrated. Like it was evicted from my body. So I'm not as much of a cynic anymore. Kekai Sensen I thought was good. Hokizu Pleiades, it's cute. I'm sorry if that's you know some people will find if Hazel. I bet Hazel will probably like that show. It's pretty cute. Hibike Euphonium I'm not a fan of. I love Liz and the Bluebird. But even watching season 2, like after I watched Joe in like 2017 or something, it's just such a chore. I just could not get into it. I'm not into it. But Listen to the Blues are amazing. Is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Meh. Plastic Memories I really did not like. Sorry, that's maybe a bit of a hot take. I just couldn't stand it. And what did I say about it? I actually have like I think I wrote a blurb about it. Total waste of potential. They dicked around as a boring domestic rom-com when a perfectly fine premise passed them by. It was like waiting for a train to hit you versus a train hitting you suddenly. At least the ending didn't completely suck. Yeah, I was a real asshole. I was an insufferable cunt in 2013, 14, 15. You do not want to know who I was at that time. I was not on Twitter, and did not have a YouTube. I didn't really like first season. I didn't like Food Wars. Still don't. Still pretty much don't. Arslan Senki I was also really disappointed by and thought it was really aggressively boring. Ninja Slayer I actually thought was awful, but I'd probably have a lot more respect for it and enjoy it a little bit more if I rewatched it. Especially the fact that it has multiple EDs. I have seen the 2015 Gintama and I actually gave it a good because it had a Shogun assassination and stuff like that. Ahara Kanju, that was the GOAT. That's the GOAT. I love it. I actually didn't like Snow White with the red hair. I'm sorry. I kind of middling, kind of did whatever. Roku no Yusha, just disappointed in the outcome pretty much, and didn't look great either. Gaku Garashi I did like. I was a fan of that. I can't believe it came out in 2015. I did like that one. I think I probably respect it a lot more than I like it, but I did like it. Gangsta, yeah, no. It also just the fact it was like a manga thing, and it's Also, Rip the student. Was it Mad Globe that made that? Yeah, Rip. Ushio Totoro, I liked it. It's good. Kana wa Mono, I actually watched. I don't remember this. It was the little animation thing. It's cute, but it's just like a music video thing. She's Empire of Corpses. Yeah, that took me multiple sessions to watch. I really wish I liked that movie more, but it just didn't want me to like it. I don't know. There was just something I didn't even give a rating for. I should take this off my fucking list. I don't even remember it. It was so in one ear out the other for me. I watched this like in 2018 or so when I was watching Digimon for the first time. Little Witch Academia, the OVA. Yeah, I didn't like the fact that it was an OVA, I guess. The fact that it was just like kind of a contained thing and I couldn't be into it. Devilman, Aria yeah, I actually liked the OVA. That's good. Yeah, okay, Perfect Insider thought was awful. Takotai Middle School awful. Second season of Rainy Coco awful. Young Blackjack I thought it was kind of meh. I actually gave a good to One Punch Man, but I used to have this as a meh. the second season of Warrior Seraph, I was really mad at. The fucking finale is an absolute cluster. Noragami Aragoto, yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to like it or whatever. And then I do like part 4, Flupon. And then Iron-Blooded Orphans. I didn't even finish the second. I didn't even watch the second season of this. I just felt it. I wasn't into it too much. I know Samatsu-san and Pokemon XYZ is amazing. Pokemon XYZ is the best season of Pokemon. Yeah, that's my 2015. I hope you hope you enjoy that. I don't know why I'd spend too much time doing that, but there you go. Remove. Anyway, sorry to waste some. Guys, because we're towards the end of the thing anyway. The last thing was flashbacks that break the #1. Oh yeah, that's another. I'm over it. Flashbacks that break the #1 rule of narrative by telling us why the characters are the way they are, rather than letting them show us. Guy, or girl, if it's Helen that's writing this. Flashbacks, as in they're showing you why the they're letting them. That's a flat. They're not telling you. If the flashbacks break the... What do you mean? That's not... If it's a like a visual flashback, is that what you're talking about? That doesn't break the number... Like, what? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make any sense? Flashbacks that break the #1... But also people being like, oh, show don't tell. I did see Ellie... Ellie on Twitter posted this, like, what was it? The average show don't tell fan versus the explain enjoyer or something like that. It's like, actually, it's perfectly fine when a character just describes how they're feeling. That's fine, and I agree with that. Show don't tell is very overrated in my opinion. That was a lot of. Sorry, I have to scroll back on the comments. Yeah, I watched a shit ton of fucking crap. I just watched a lot. It was really annoying. That's why I don't want to do it anymore, because I know I'll just do that more and it'll suck up all my time. I have to go from the beginning here. I don't know about the entire thesis of this about the Encyclopedia, but it seems like they want to prop up anime as something like of great artistic value, rather than convince people anime can be enjoyed this way. Yeah, like their purpose is that it's like, oh, it's something more than Pokemon violence and nudity. But the fact that they're so adamant on just like, oh, it's more of the same. They're so rooted in that. It's like, whatever. Bleach was on Adult Swim. Yep. Yeah, he did. One Piece was screwed over by Toei, giving it to 4Kids when they didn't even want it. Yeah, fair. One Piece is still more popular in the West than Bleach and Naruto. Ultimately, yes, because it's still running now. Like, it's fine now, but it did have a really rough start. Like, in the 2000s, it seemed like it had a bit of a late start. And of course it's above them now because it's still running, you know. I think the start of the time skip is a good intro to the characters. Yeah. One Piece is more popular critically in the West, but not in terms of success or recognition like the Zaki anime. Yeah, that's fair. Oh wow, you even watched Pretty Coco. Yeah. Stratos was awful! Yeah. Yeah, Punchline is Kino. Yeah, I do have to rewatch it. Gen Urobuchi only came up with the plot of the original Gunslinger Stratos arcade game. You had no involvement. I know, and that was after the fact. That was like, and I don't drop anything, so like we found that out, and I was like, shit, I'm stuck with this shitty anime. I don't know, hard to tell, but when I was going to conventions back in the day, there seemed to be a lot more One Piece than Naruto. Okay, fair. Pleiades is great, but that's fair. I agree with Hippie K. I forgot about Warren and Seraph. Haha. Also, One Piece is talked about a lot more than either of them. Okay, jeez, like, again, I think it's because a lot of it was like it had been running longer. Like, it came out before both of those shows, and it ran after those shows, you know. Classic Memories being mez one thing, but awful. Yeah, it got under my skin. That show was like really annoying to me. 2015 without pulling up on my mail. Wow. Did you watch Old Arslan? Yeah, the OVA. I did enjoy the OVA more because it's aesthetically, it's just more pleasing. Or maybe I give it a meh. I don't remember. Let's see. Arslan. The OVA, I have a meh actually. Maybe I watched it at the time and I was like, still no story. Or whatever. I was insufferable. Also played Guns Through the Stars. I can't remember. It was pretty sweet. Wow, no! I don't know what you were referring to there. Gangster wasn't great. Oh, probably. Let's see. What could that have been? Oh, Shiryuki Hime maybe. I'm sorry, or Ninja Slayer. Sorry. Perfect Insider was bad. Little Art Community OVA. Has anybody played it? Yeah, okay. I don't understand how something can be awful if you watch the entire show. It's because I don't drop anything. It's because I hate the idea of dropping shit. I don't drop anything. I stop watching sometimes where I try the first episode. I usually do like a 1 episode thing sometimes if I haven't decided on, if I'm unsure of whether am I going to watch Kuroko no Basket or Reborn or Ice Shield 21. All 3 of those are pretty long investments. I'm kind of even on, I'm not sure which one I'll watch. Let me try the first episode and I'll decide on one. That doesn't, to me, this is obviously subjective, but to me that doesn't mean that I've dropped Kuroko no Basket or Reborn. I'm just not watching them right now. And if I do make the decision I'm watching this show, I'm going to watch all of it. But yeah, it's because it's awful and I'm usually just like, and I'm watching all of its completion basically because this is what it is. And I also am not hate watching. I wasn't hate watching, by the way, for any of those shows. To my knowledge, I can't remember anyone that I was like, yeah, fuck this show, or I don't do that. Even when I was a cynical cunt, I didn't do that. Let's see how it fucks itself up this time. Ooh, fuck off with that. Ooh, negative, like anti. Forget it. Like, cringe. Perfect Insider was bad. Per Jason DeMarco, OP was taken off of Toonami because it cost more than its ratings justified. Oh, yeah. And the reason it's coming back is that Toei really wanted it on TV, so seemingly they cut a deal. Cool. No origami slander. yeah, sorry. I don't know what it is. I wasn't into it. Maybe I'll like it more with like the girl and the. I like the boy. The boy's cute. The blonde one, because I back like this was very early on. Like this is really cringe for me to admit. But like very often I would watch an anime if it had like a boy that had blonde hair because I had blonde hair. It's pretty cringe. But that's what made me watch Oron because of Honey. And I was like, oh, OMG, it's me. Oh shit, it's me. And then I would watch it. That's what, yeah, it's cringe. But that was when I was not 27. But I still feel that sometimes where I see a blonde character, I'm like, oh shit, it's me. I will watch XYZ one day. It's great. What is the program you're using there? It's called Taiga. Taiga. You can link it to your Mal. I don't know if you can do link Mal because there's a thing where Mal crashed and then it stopped functionality or something. But maybe it has it again. They fixed it since then. Maybe. I also do that. Okay, cool. But like you can link your Annulist or Yukitsu, and you can just. It's so much easier to mark shows and move things and tally and keep track, and it's been a lifesaver. It's been one of the reasons I mostly attribute Kitsu just for the database itself, of course, but Taiga in particular is why I've gotten so deep in anime, because I just love the cataloging of it. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to distract you. Oh, no. Like, this is just fun to stream. I love streaming. We got into 2.5 hours, and I thought I was going to be like an hour and 30 because for some reason, I always think these things I'm never going to talk a shit ton. They took it off because Toei was charging One Piece the same price that they were charging Dragon Ball. They have lowered the price significantly since for this run. I find when the character explains who they're feeling, but I hate when a character explains how another character is feeling akin to spectators explaining a fight. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good pet peeve to have, in my opinion. I think it's good when it's specific, but things like that, it's like that's too much of a storytelling device that it's like unreason. Like, oh, I don't like the climax. I don't like when a series has a has a resolution. Like, it's like things like that. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you can have, like, sure, guy, have that take. I don't like when stories have 3-act structures. It's like, all right, go off, king. You know, that's sort of what, but like specific things like that, that's okay. Like, I get having pet peeves. That's cool, as long as you can really articulate why, right? Yeah, instead of being like, oh, breaks the #1 rule of narrative. It's like, okay. Yeah, I can only really keep up with one show per season if I want to watch old stuff too. Facts. I just wait for seasonals to finish and then marathon when I find interesting. Yeah, I say that too, but then I never do it. I very occasionally just, seasonals for me are very much on a whim these days. Sometimes I watch them weekly, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I watch them years later, blah, blah, blah. I don't have a ritual for that. Never figured it out. Yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that. I think for current, Arslan, the anime is very impressive, but the manga is a lot better. Trust me, it will get you a less cynical mindset. I also do that, yeah. I'm currently reading Oran. Good luck! It's hard to read. It's a little cluttered. The art's a little all over the place. The anime's amazing. The manga's, I wish I could read it. I wish I could make out what's happening and understand and enjoy. Oh well. Oran's great. It's working with Malik now, I'm 90% sure. Yeah, probably. But I'm so lazy. My fucking Mal has, let me see how my Mal's, like the last time I updated my Mal. Users. Let me pull this up. It's funny. This is my profile. And my last update was May 23rd, 2018. Sheesh! What was I watching at the time? I was watching 20 anime! I'm insane. I was insane. Look at this aesthetic ass. Look at this! Fan art? Like, okay. Cringe? Anyway. Gosh. Oh, this image is no longer available. Which one was that for? I don't remember. Look at all this shit I was watching! Ugh! I was watching Gamba because of the fan sub at the time. Amanchu is a seasonal. Happy Kiss, the 3rd season of the Magical Boy seasonal. Black Clover, Future Boy Conan. That was part of my quad. That was one of the quads because I was watching Future Boy, Yamato, Tyler, and where is it? Planetes. But then because I was watching 2199, I was also watching the Star Blazers Quest for Inscat? Yeah, the original original Space Battleship Yamato to compare to 2199. I was also watching Sun and Moon Weekly at the time. I was watching Overman King Gainer with a friend, but then we stopped, and so I just kind of watched it on my own. Season 3 was a seasonal. Gintama was the one I was watching 1 episode a day of, and alongside that I was watching Maison Koku 1 episode a day. Denoe Tez was a seasonal. Oh, that was the other one, Hakage Densetsu. So when was I watching? How was I watching that as well? I don't remember. Oh, Tyler. No, that wasn't it. So Captain Tyler. I was watching Hakuge, both Yamatos, Planetes, and Future Boy Conan, all at the same in the same group, basically. And then Tyler was with a friend. I was watching this with a friend, as well. And then the Urusei Yatsura is blah, blah, blah. I don't know why they were on there because I hadn't even fucking started them. And I still haven't watched them actually. Megalobox was also a seasonal. I think that's everything. Oh, Sword Art Online? Yeah, Gun Gale. For some reason, I was watching that because 2018 was like, oh, I gotta watch it because it's a sequel. Blah blah blah. Okay. So I was watching that as a seasonal as well. Yeah, I was insane back then. I had nothing to do. I guess. Sheesh. But then, yeah, my profile. Look at these aesthetic-ass collages, man. Can I open this in a bigger... Look at that. So nice. I still love this one. This was my background for a while. It's not obvious. It's obviously not complete anymore because it doesn't have Doremi on it. It actually has Black Butler on it still, which was my top one for a while. This is actually probably, yeah. This is like when my top 10 was Nausicaa, with like in order, I think, was Black Butler, LGH, Nausicaa. Nausicaa just because I loved this particular center image for it. Black Butler, LGH, Nausicaa, Oron, Kaiji, Berserk Kaiji, Princess Tutu, Sunred, Bebop, I think was my 10. And then just Ava's just there. Oh, Monster, I'm sorry. Kaiji, Monster, Sunred, Tutu, Sunred, Bebop. I had a particular top 10 order. Then there's Escaflowne, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter. Yu Yu Hunter x Hunter wouldn't be on there anymore. Metropolis, I like it, but I wouldn't be on there anymore. That's Yurikuma. Really good picture for it. Rose of Versailles, Shingeki no Bahamut Genesis. I love that show, but it wouldn't be on there anymore. And then this is all the stuff I was planning to watch. I was most excited to watch these shows at the time. And since that time, I've watched all of them except Trigun. I still haven't seen Trigun, and I still haven't seen Zegapane. But I've seen everything else. Very aesthetic, though. I really like that one. These are like my favorite heroes, my favorite good guys, my best girls, and villains. I don't know why I'm showing this now. Anyway, I guess I'm just bored. Not like bored, but like, while I'm here, I guess. Sheesh, you watch a lot. Yeah, at the time. Now my, let me show you what my currently watching is right now. Let me pull up Taiga again. Hold on. Is it display window capture? No, I think it's display capture. No. Damn OBS. Where is it? It's Taiga, right? Hold on, sorry. Let me... That's kind of it. It's display capture. Currently watching just those 5. Elgaim, Neoranga with a group watch, One Piece, Arjuna with my patrons, and Final Season. That's literally it. And it is clean. Anyway. But yeah. Let me read. Thanks, installing right away. Oh yeah, it's great. By the way, just wanted to ask, what do you think about the upcoming new Urusei Yatsura anime? Sure. I'm surprised, because that's such a seminal animation thing for Piero, at least. I don't know what I don't know what their intention is. I imagine but I heard that the Urusei Yatsura anime actually kind of adapts it kind of okay. Like it's sort of 50-50. I don't know why. It's 50 episodes. I hope it's sort of I would hope they carry on the spirit of the original, where it's very much of an animation smorgasbord and kind of a fun new thing, and kind of ring in this new decade of sorts. Like, that would be cool. But if it's just to make more Urusei Yatsura, like to adapt the manga again, or I don't know what it would be for. It's not exciting to me in the same way. especially because it doesn't have the same voice actors. So, but I'm open to it. I don't know if I'll check it out until I hear about it and be like, no, you should really check it out. And I'm like, okay. But otherwise, I'm like, how Adult Swim pushes One Piece here reminds me of how they have tried for years to make people get into Lupin. Mad respect. Yeah. Yeah, I've only seen the anime for Roran. I'm watching 20 anime now. Yeah. You know how it's like. I end up watching all the seasonals that I think will be good. I'm usually right, but I end up watching 10 or 15 things a season. I'm always watching a bunch of old stuff too. Currently watching. Sheesh, you watched a lot. Is the one next to it shows you want to watch soon? Yeah, that was what it was, yeah. My ending list. Who's the guy on the bottom right of your bad guys grid? Bottom right, the bad guys grid is Kazuya from Kaiji Part 5. That's not been adapted into the anime yet. It's the best villain in Kaiji. Let me pull him up. Kazuya Kyoto. This dude is so good. He is the best. Like, as good as Kaiji is, and I love it. It's one of my favorite anime, in my top 10 still. It doesn't have a good villain, at least like a good enough villain, until Kazuya. I honestly think that. I really think that just Kazuya has all of the villainy, charisma, foil to Kaiji, and ultimately the humanity and like cathartic yeah, just the thing the stuff he goes through, and like the stuff happening towards the end of One Poker in particular is so emotional, and yeah, it's like, you know, it's fucking amazing. And it's his son basically, and it's amazing. Yeah, I love it. This is this is nostalgic because this is what they would use at the end of the manga scans. Yeah, no, it's amazing. He's a great villain. Don't care for Trigun, but though I know it's a very unpopular opinion. Yeah, I don't know. Greg, you've seen a lot. Guess that you didn't watch Trigun on Adult Swim as a kid. No, I didn't have Adult Swim at all. Not at all. I've been meaning to ask that forever. Hazel, some would say too much. Sam. I wonder if the new anime will make Earth Outs were popular in the West. You would think the same of like Captain Tsubasa, but that David Pro also made, but that didn't happen. So. But not me. There's no such thing as watching too much. Still need to get around to Kaiji. I love his design. I don't know. Kazuma is the best villain. But I feel the villains before him are still really great. No, they are good. I'm not. That's not to give to full shade of the other villains, but like, it's no contest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think any of them I truly I really liked in the same way as this one, as Kazuya. Mainly because of the ending he gets, pretty much. Side note, there are so many Kaiji games, make me wonder if they're any good. Where are the fan translators when you need them? I got the manga, that's all I need. I gotta catch up. Got a couple chapters behind on that one. Good ones. Actually, I'm not done. I'm so sorry. This is gonna be a 3-hour stream. You know, at least in the live the VOD, I could just put the time code here as nonsense. You know what I mean? I could just be like ignore or just fun times with the chat. I don't know. But like they had this Discovery series. There was like an article about just a studio that produced a lot of porn titles, and I just liked that they condensed all of them into one article like that, and it was very succinct and cool. I was like, that's a great idea. And then Durara, they have this really nice. They have this quote that I'm like, I wish there was more of this. There's a major shift in emphasis from slice of life plot to tightly focused 3-strand emphasis on the love triangle. So like the idea of like conceptualizing for the audience what kind of show they're getting into, where like it's episodic in this half and then it picks up, it gets this really big thing at the midpoint or something. Like structuring, like kind of pitching, like giving the audience reviewing the sense of what it's like. I love that personally. I like having a sense of what I'm getting into if I've never seen this show before. But like expect this, and then it gets kind of whatever later on. If you say like, oh, it's completely episodic, it's like, okay, cool, or whatever, you know. I just wish there was more of that. Maybe that's a little like kind of nothing, but to me, I really liked that. Some titles I'm now interested in. I'm not going to look them up at this point because I'll, you know, it's take more time. Dodge Dompe. So this was interesting because Dodge Dompe was one of the older shows. It was a 91. It's from 91, I believe. That wasn't in the first edition. So this is like a newer thing, and I looked into it for whatever reason. Because I just want to see some visuals for it, and I saw that the director was Hiroshi Sasagawa, who I turned out is the Speed Racer director, like the original Speed Racer. And then that guy Hiroshi Sasagawa, he also just directed Muta King. Like he was the overall overseer for that 2021 show, that like the Dancing Hero or something like that. He was on that. The dude's been directing since 1965 with Space Ace. This dude's crazy. He's 85. I was like, whoa. And shit like that was just really fascinating to me. That was like kind of a deep dive of like looking into that some more potentially, just seeing his career. As well as the guy I tweeted earlier the other day, where I found out that author Shinji Mitsushima, I believe Shinji Mitsushima. It's the guy who wrote Dokuben and Abusan. Abusan is 107 volumes, and then Dokuben is collected. It's had hiatuses and it's broken up, but it's the same character and universe. 200 volumes. The same author. The guy wrote a 100-volume consecutive, like, did not stop from 1970-something to 2015. 107 volumes. Unbroken. And then a different series that collectively is over 200 volumes. And he just passed away last week. I don't think any of it's translated. It's really interesting. But the manga is available on Anime Bites. And I'm just like, wow. That's tempting, personally, just to kind of get a better sense of who that is, because not available in English whatsoever. Not even a whiff. Not even like fan translation. Nothing. So that was just really interesting to me. But that just kind of piqued my interest in a similar way. Also, it's Dodgeball, Dodge Dompe. It's a dodgeball anime. So I'm like, oh, okay. Sensei no Oji-kan. This just looks cute. Let me just look this one up for you guys. I said I wouldn't do this, and then I'm doing it. Just because I really want you to, but the way they described it was, you know, this just looks really cute. Basically, this is their teacher, but she looks like a child. But like, it just looks so like kind of innocent and, oh my god, it's PG-13. That's funny. But like, I just like the characters look really simple and cute or whatever, and I don't know, just seems like a fun, cute time. 3. Am I the first to review this? Okay. I'm sorry. It's started to call shade. I don't know. I just like the visual on that one. The concept was just kind of silly and cute. I don't know. And then Chagma Ondo was the one that I wrote today because of the early anime thing. And then no. Okay, so we're done. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Sorry that took forever. I hope you guys are having a good time, though. Scratch that. There are only 3 still out. This should need translation. If you like hype gambling manga, you should definitely check out Usogui. I think I've heard of that one. I'm not much of a manga guy, though. I don't think any other manga has as much insane narrative complexity. Oh, I imagine. But I'm not as much into kaiji with the complexity as I am about the tension and the stakes and the guessing and things like that. The newer Yatsura is being made in part to celebrate Shokugan's 100th anniversary. Fuji TV also apparently isn't doing great ratings-wise these days, so it could be a nostalgia play to attract viewers. That's fair. Yeah, I assumed it was something like that. Urusei Yatsura was absolutely massive in Japan. That's why I was like surprised that they were making it, to be honest, because I was thought it would have more reference than that. The recent Tsubasa anime might have had a chance to get the series more attention in the U.S. if it hadn't actually legally simulcast. Yeah, that was so strange. I remember that. It just didn't get simulcast for some reason. But we're streaming it all. Every time I look up anime games for old game consoles, Dodge Danpei keeps coming up. I feel like I know about that show without even watching it. I mean, I feel most Western anime fans torrent or use illegal streaming sites anyways. As much as I would like that sports anime is notoriously unpopular in America, yes, very unpopular. Really bad. Like really, really, really unpopular. I don't know. I don't remember JoJo's really exploding on until after it was available on Crunchyroll. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a very underground. Like the manga had been translated, and a lot of people liked it, but it had never gotten the momentum until at least part 3, specifically. And then they were like, Stans, the guy with the tongue, whoa, and then and they're like, oh wow, and they get it, and it's whoa, it's this a rock from the 80s, whoa, and it just clicked. Also good adaptations, to be fair. I think modern fans gravitate towards legal streaming as their entry point. Yes, but also like Lupin Part 5 and 4 and 6 were available, and yeah, they got a little more popular, but not that much. Fun fact, Doki Doki School was also Geki no Kitaro was like available, and how much more fans did that really attract? If anything, it got more fans to be like, fuck you, Toei, give us more Dragon Ball, not some of this ghost shit. Fun fact, Doki Doki School was the main inspiration for Aka's manga Daio. Alright, hell yeah. Yeah, but JoJo was an action shonen. I'm not so sure. Kuroko no Basket and Haikyuu are pretty big. No, those shows are very new and like anomalies. Like that's great that those shows are actually popular. Up until that point, you couldn't sell Ippo. It's a bestseller now for Discotek, but it flopped for Geneon. Hajime no Ippo, super popular, like really one of the few sports anime that people actually really like, and that flopped in 2006. Never mind Slam Dunk or any of the baseball anime, like Big Wind Up, like nah. It doesn't sell. Adachi hasn't done really well here. It's notoriously bad. Same with Miyamoshi Pedal and Free. No, the thing is that like that they're big on like streaming and stuff, but we have Miyamoshi. I don't know how popular Miyamoshi Pedal is a title for us. And Freeze, I don't think people are watching Free for the sports aspect. if you don't mind, if you understand where I'm coming from. Is there an entry for Heroic Age? Yeah, probably. Let's find out. Age. Yes. I'm not going to read the synopsis. Let me see if they have any. It's Hercules in space with giant cyberoids. Greek myths have long been fertile hunting grounds for studios in search of a story. Look at Ulysses 31 or Saint Seiya. Unfortunately, a mythic backdrop only works with compelling characters and good plotting, and here an impressive backstory goes to waste for want of anything driving the front end. There is some stunningly beautiful design and art going on in the background, and the score is dramatic, creating a sense of wonder that flies out the window as soon as the script kicks in. This is something of a surprise, since Ubukata is not only an award-winning novelist in his own right, but a published author of how-to manuals on writing anime. Not like this, we hope. Yikes. Not happy with that one. There are exceptions to not the rule, but good take. Hello, Mr. Shabe. It's me, Luigi. Yeah, it's good to see you, Luigi. Kuroko and Haikyuu are pretty huge. I think Gears for Sports series. It's shit. I would hope so. But man, it's really insurmountable. It's really hard. You just have to market it. No, even if you market it, like, I swear, like, this is what I've been told, in terms of, like, general trajectory and stuff they've tried. Because there's tons of sports anime. It's a huge genre. And of course they've tried. But, like, it really is just it's the market you're selling it to are nerds. People who don't play sports. But now, anime's gone so mainstream, there's a ton of people who do play a lot of sports, who really would enjoy these types of shows. Or more people that are more general and more open-minded, or are kind of cool with it. And like, oh, I've never played that, but it's fun, or whatever. You know, they're a lot more open-minded than the I don't want to generalize anime fans in the 2000s, but I think you know what I mean. The kind of more shut-in, nerdy, sci-fi, like, not sports. Not sports. Just not sports. You know what I mean? Like, think of the fans of the 2000s and then pitch a sports series to them. They're not going to take it. I wish more people knew Adachi. Yeah, because he's great. A lot of people just don't know about these titles. Well, yeah, they don't seek them out either. Cartoon Network tried that with Eye Shield. It lasted for 6 episodes. They also tried with Slam Dunk. Not the Cartoon Network specifically, but yeah, it's like saying Yuri on Ice is a big sports anime. Technically true, but like, I don't know, if ice skating is really the draw. It's a draw, but no, not why it got so big. I mean, Eye Shield was given a hack dub that squeezed 8 episodes into 5. That wasn't going to work in 07, definitely not now. Prince of Tennis also bombed after like 8 episodes. The only sports anime that are popular are the ones with hot guys. I think the problem with sports in the West is that there is little overlap between sports and anime fans. Exactly. That's pretty much exactly it. When they are making an Irish Bulldog anime. When are they making an Irish Bulldog anime? Couldn't tell you. I'm sure they'll get to it at some point. CN kind of sabotaged their broadcast of Prince of Tennis by skipping episodes the first time. That's just not... I don't think that was the point. I don't think that's the reason. Like, yeah, they could... That's the same thing with, like, One Piece and 4Kids. I don't think that's entirely the reason. Trust me, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm biased because a friend of mine and I really love sports anime. I love sports anime! My fucking all-time favorite anime is a sports anime! I love it! But, like, it's just not popular. Especially for how long a lot of these shows are. There needs to be a lot of money into these. They're long shows. So that means there's a lot of more effort in marketing them and potentially dubbing them or getting them on, or like the longer a show is, the kind of more literally gargantuan, right? It just wasn't there, you know? Honestly, as a kid, sports anime just sounded boring to me. It was all about Inuyasha and FMA for me. Yes! That's literally, like, they wouldn't even give it a try. That was the problem. Like, if they actually watched Slam Dunk, they would realize how similar to a lot of Shonen Jump series it was. Because it was a Shonen Jump title. Like, literally. And it is good. This is why I don't care about premise. I would miss all the great sports anime. I know! Seriously. Anyway. Almost 3 hours. I swear we didn't talk about the Encyclopedia that much in this stream. It was really... kind of went all over the place, and I ended up talking about myself a lot more. I don't know, I just like talking. I started skipping episodes because the ratings were very low, and the network made them skip to episodes that had matches in them. Yeah, that's the tough thing. I'm not surprised. When I was in middle school, I played football and wrestled, but hated watching sports and had no interest in sports, anime, and manga. I just wanted action and science fiction. Yeah, That's what I mean. I can get that. Ashton Joe, more like Ashtonot terrible takes. Thank God for that. Haha, let's go. Thank you, Luigi. I really appreciate the positivity. No, they skipped episodes for every week. They went from 1 to 4 the second week, episode 9 the week after, etc. It was bizarre. I don't doubt that, and that is very bizarre. But I still don't, I'm not surprised that Prince of Tennis or Hikaru no Go or like a lot of these actually fantastic sports anime just didn't take off. And like, thank God for like Hikaru no Go that they actually dubbed all of it. That's awesome. You know what I mean? Like some of these titles they couldn't even get that far. But anyway, I think that's enough time for today. We have finished A through D of the Anime Encyclopedia. Next time on the expedition, we're going through E. And I hope you stick around and enjoy for that. Look forward to that. Cartoon Network was shafting any anime not called Naruto or Dragon Ball by 2004. And Fruits Basket. Fruits Basket was doing really well, not for Cartoon Network specifically, but I was thinking Funimation. Sorry. There's a reason Adult Swim got all the good anime by then. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna cut it off there. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are great. You have a great week. Damn it, I didn't have the button ready. God damn it. Yeah, only 22 letters to go. I know. And like I think I've told you, I said earlier, the pace that we're going to be, the pace that we're going to be at, scrolling all the way to the top, just a second. The notes right here. It's kind of generally what I'm thinking. D is the month of January, so it's still January technically on the 29th. So E and F are going to be done by February-ish. This is all very rough. G by March, H-I-J in April, K and L in May. This is based on like length, of course. L and M, all of M in July, because M is huge. It's so massive. M is big. N and O, PQR, RS, ST, TUV, and then try to finish it by next January. Hello, year from now. It's like you finished it and had a good time, hopefully. Anywho, yeah, guys are great. Thank you so much. You have a great week. Yo, peace.